We are here in Ghana, West Africa, at New Earth Health Foods, with our beloved brother, Dr. Aris LaTham from Sunfired Cuisine Institute out of Panama. Welcome, Akwaba, my brother.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. We're going to have our youth to read your bio so people can know who you're coming to see. Because y'all know something, but you don't know everything. It's a lot. Oh, here.
The Raw Food Miracle. Dr. Aris LaTham, SWAMI of Food, linguist, educator and innovator of Sunfired Culinary Arts and Science. The Oxford Encyclopedia of Food and Drink in America Acclaims. The raw food movement owes much to Dr. Aris LaTham, a native of Panama. He is considered to be the father of gourmet ethical raw food cuisine. He debuted his raw food creations in 1979 when he started Sunfired Food, a live food company in Harlem, New York. In the years since, he has trained thousands of raw food chefs and added innumerable recipes to his repertoire. His passionate journey through the realm of food knowledge began in his mother and grandmother's kitchen. He has traversed across continents, bringing Sunfired Soul with his African Caribbean Culinary Griot lineage to gut experiences, enlightening minds and palates of hungry health seekers throughout the world. Aris LaTham has not partaken of any cooked foods for 48 years, a complete vegetarian for 54 years, and has not drunk water/H2O for 45 years. Growing up in the tropical rainforest on the traditional African Antillean culinary delights instilled in him the know-how in preparing dishes from fresh foods gathered from planet Earth's fertile grounds. Mr. LaTham completed graduate studies at California State University Fullerton with majors in linguistics and bilingual education. He is a polyglot scholar of Kiswahili, Sanskrit, Italian, Arabic, and Ebonics. Master LaTham has been bestowed an honorary doctorate degree in Sunfired Food Science from the City of University of Los Angeles, highlighting his achievement of having innovated the culinary world by inventing Sunfired Cuisine International. Dr. Aris LaTham has been sought after to present and cater to an extensive list of celebrities and dignitaries. Ruth Oti, President of COO of Discovery Channel, 1986 to 1994, celebrated American vegan actress Cicely Tyson. Sam Nujoma, President of Namibia, 1990 to 2005. U.S. Supreme Court Chief Justice Sandra Day O'Connor, 1981 to 2006. Deepak Chopra title and Derek Walcott, Nobel Prize in Literature, 1992, just to mention a few. Dr. Aris LaTham was honored in 2005 as a keynote presenter to the 36th World Vegetarian Congress in Florianopolis, Brazil, as well as the European Vegetarian Congress in Ricin, Italy. In 2009, he was featured at the International Vegan Festival in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Dr. LaTham presented at the World Veg Fest in Dubai, UAE, and Shenin, India in 2014. It is not the food in your life, but the life in your food that nourishes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And with that being said, I want to start at the end with the standing ovation. Yami Shroud. Yami Shroud means God bless you.
Thank you.
Yes. So the long-awaited interview, everybody wants to know about the man who hasn't drank water. You know, as I was going around promoting this event and showing people, when they see your picture, sometimes if they didn't know your name, they would say, "Oh, is that the guy that hasn't drunk water?" So so in Ghana, that's kind of how they know you, is the one who hasn't drunk water. Even though I know a lot of people have viewed you being interviewed talking about water, and a lot of people have are calling you that same thing, the man who hasn't drunk water. Yeah, but so today we are celebrating African holistic wellness movement, the past, the present, and the future. And you're the perfect one for this one. You know, you've been doing this for a long time. You work with a lot of people, and you've been in the movement, you know, for a long time. And I would say mainly catering to our people because of the, you know, the illness, the food that's pushed on us, you know, that's making us sick, the habits and things that we have. And you basically came up with a cuisine that made it easier for people to transfer over into doing raw food, because you made a lot of things that's similar to what they taste. Like you make pizza and burgers, and, you know, a lot of things that people are like, even rice, you know, all kind of different things that people are used to. So when it comes down to the raw food, I mean, you can just drink juice and, you know, eat bananas and just keep it simple. But then sometimes you want to, you know, do something more creative, and you want something that's similar, you know. So this man has come up with a way. I always make a joke. I say he can make a carrot taste like sausage. Yeah, so I'm so glad that the audience is here today, and then our audience that's watching online, welcome, welcome. Please post your questions, click the like button, and so you can be aware of some future events that might be coming up. So so let me start off with this question. So Doc, it's an honor to have you here to start the new year. This is a perfect time to start the new year, 2025. This is January 1st, in the center of the world.
That's right.
Coming with the right message to move forward with this African, you know, food renaissance in a sense.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So can you begin by sharing what inspired your journey into being vegetarian and then raw food and holistic wellness for the past 4 decades?
Well, I must say that it was quite a few factors that inspired this. Number one, my upbringing in grandma's house. You know, being born in Panama, on what was known at that time as the U.S. Panama Canal Zone. My grandparents were migrant workers, left our land in Jamaica and Barbados to go to Panama to build a monument to the world, to build a canal for the world. But this is basically has been in the nature of my family history. You know, we have been journeying for centuries. You know, I'm of the understanding that the roots originated, you know, in the heart of where I am now, in Africa, at home. And we have been journeying all into Ethiopia, you name it, Kemet, Mali. You know, we owned Europe, Spain. We conquered Spain as the Moors. You know, we've been journeying for quite some time. So Panama was just a stop on our journey, building civilizations, building monuments, building life, and teaching, especially sharing with the universe our direct link from being pretty much heavenly bodies out here dangling off of planet Earth. But our roots, our connection is truly universal. So today, what this represents to me in terms of how did I get into this, it's basically in my DNA. You know, besides the fact that my grandparents were born in Barbados and Jamaica, you know, we do have some mix-up in us as well, you know, reclaiming some of the roots that we've scattered from around the world. So with this combination and being born in a place like Panama in 1947, I was born into basically being a griot, you know, a oral historian, particularly hanging out in grandma's kitchen. But in migrating from Panama at the age of 17 and moving straight into Brooklyn, inner city America, and there, you know, being in this environment with so many of us from all over the world, and being blessed to be able to go through the whole acculturation, you know, through food in that environment, and to see the difference between how I was brought up, basically living in the rainforest. You know, we were brought up in an environment where it was just us and nature. So being brought up there, and pretty much all of our food intake was fresh, whatever it was. Even if we were eating fish, it was fresh catch that morning, whether from the lake or from the sea. So this legacy of freshness is something that has really stuck with me. And as you see right here, I'm greeted with more freshness. So to be able to really just come here and stop anywhere in the world and know where and how to find fresh food, this is my legacy. You know, very little processed food. So growing up into this setup now, and then coming into a place like New York and being exposed, you know, to what is known as the SAD diet, the standard American diet. You know, I'm getting introduced to sloppy Joe, hot dog, hamburgers, and all of these pretty much killer foods. And along with that, you know, being in the inner city community of people of African orientation, African descent, you know, I get introduced to soul food. You know? So with all of this combination and basically having an assault on my body with all of this processed food, highly chemicalized, my body went through a trauma after 2 years. You know, initially I was an athlete, really doing it very hard, you know, swimming. We grew up in Panama, swimming in the ocean. You know, in elementary school, you know, going to swim, we go to the ocean. You know, the school is right across the street from the ocean, and we go to the ocean to swim. So I'm used to swimming long distance, you know.
Wow.
So it was part of, you know, just being there, going into to athletics, swimming, gymnastics, and track and field. You know, my energy, my stamina, you know, was on point. But after 2 years of being in this environment and being introduced to this SAD diet, the difference was very obvious. You know, my energy, my stamina, you know, my athletics, you know, pretty much just collapsed. So moving on, going to college, to the university, and being now in the middle of the 60s, we're talking 1967. You know, the 60s is probably the most profound era, those 10 years, that decade in our history. You know, this is the time when, you know, we're talking, you know, the African movement, Pan-Africanism.
Which is where I was coming to ask specifically about that. Is that you've been a trailblazer in the wellness movement since the 1970s.
Yeah.
And what was the African holistic wellness landscape in the 60s and the 70s? And who were some of the key figures who influenced you?
Yes. Well, pretty much I started in 1970 of really just going clean and getting rid of animals, no animals on my plate, you know. And it wasn't because of, you know, trying to save the environment, trying to save the animals. Literally, it was about trying to save my black ass, you know. Because we realized in our community, in the inner cities, you know, the foods that we were being introduced to, they were weaponized, they were weapon. We saw that the apples, you know, in the inner city were not the same apples outside of our community. So going to the university in the suburbs, away from the community, and getting to see the stark difference, you know, that's what really awakened me. You know, and being a fresh college student, I was so hungry for knowledge. And to start researching, why did I end up with a heart murmur after 2 years of living in this environment and lost my stamina for athleticism, then bang, that's what really hit it for me. So from 1970 to 1976, just doing intense research. Basically, when people ask me this question, how did I do it? It's because I was intelligent. You know, it's just pure brain, wisdom to see this difference between my food that I grew up with in grandma's house and the food that I'm eating out of cafeterias, restaurants, fast food joints, you name it. It wasn't the same. So coming into this, during that time now, in the 60s, we seeing the revolution, you know, the Black Power movement.
Yeah.
So between the Black Power movement, the hippie movement, the anti-Vietnam War movement, and this other angle that was called the radical white kids, you know, in the university, Kent State University, they're shooting up, you know, locking down the university, take over the president's office. And this is right after the death of Martin Luther King and all the things that has happened in our community, and seeing this going on. I would say my really first frontline influence was actually through the Nation of Islam.
Okay.
And that's just being in the community, in an environment where I'm reading this book, How to Eat to Live by Elijah Muhammad.
Yes.
And basically 1 meal a day, you know, stay away from this, stay away from that. So, but there was a meat strike or something with some meat poisoning. So in 1970, no meat was being sold in New York because of whatever happened. I think it was something, some poisoning or something, and they had to remove and recall a whole bunch of stuff. And right there, the Nation of Islam started bringing in from Ecuador whiting, frozen whiting, and selling it on the street corner, you know, right next to where we are. And, you know, we growing up with this, you know, flesh influence, that was like right on time. So I never went back to meat after that. So within months from there, this is when I got into my research, and it was about no more meat, no more animals, no dairies, nothing like that. So now, for me now, it's 55 years now, as we here in 2025, you know. So basically being here and sitting here with my beloved sister, what we are doing right now, and what we're facing as humanity today, because, you know, today humanity is sicker than ever.
Yeah.
In the whole context of human presence on this planet, we're sicker than ever.
Yeah.
And we see the big war against disease. Look at all the hospitals. Look at a medical pharmacy right across the street. One over here, one down there.
Every
I mean,
corner.
it's like all the doctors, all the nurses, all the hospitals, all of the teaching institution, the medical school. Somebody probably just graduated right now as a doctor, a whole bunch of them. And we're sicker. So something is not right with this.
Something's not right.
So it's about taking ownership, taking charge, and getting out here and defending our life, because this is a revolution. This is a war against life that we're experiencing. So it's about time now that we just stand up and defend our life. And when we're dealing with defending our lives, from my perspective of the circle that I grew up in, it's about what's on your plate, man. What are you eating? Why are you sick? So we're here to share with you, you don't have to be sick. Let's get rid of this entire concept.
Yes.
The human body. So
you.
this whole thing about healing and medicine and all of this stuff, we need to get rid of that. We need to throw it out the door, because we are here today on this new civilization. That civilization just ended yesterday.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
That sick civilization ended yesterday.
Yes.
So today, moving forward,
Yes.
we need to make a commitment to self that I am not going to be sick. And why am I sick? Doc, you better tell me why I'm sick. And don't be trying to patch me up and do me, but we know why we're sick. And this is why we're sitting here today. This is why Dr. Sharita has this rescue center right here to bring it all back home to you. It's about the food in your life that's getting you the way you are. So we need to switch the paradigm and understand that it's not so much now about the food in my life, but the life in my food that nourishes. We've been eating death, and we're looking to extract life from dead food. You cook, you kill, you destroy anything that has life in it. If it's ever been exposed to a temperature higher than the highest recorded solar temperature on this planet, 135 degrees Fahrenheit, anything that gets exposed to that, Death Valley, California, that's where that temperature was recorded. You are dying. You're eating death, and especially these dead animals. This brings me to the point right now, one of the reasons why I'm sitting here in this position, because I came here to Accra, Ghana in 1972 as a dancer, part of an African dance troupe. We came to study with the National Dance Theater of Ghana, Togo, Dahomey, or Benin, and Nigeria. And when we stayed at Legon in the Commons that summer, on this 3-month journey to really get involved with our culture, with our life through dance, in the cafeteria, they put on our plate one little piece of meat, whatever it was, a piece of chicken, a piece of fish, a piece of beef, and you got no more right here in Legon at the university. And on the buffet, you have the fufu, the spinach, everything else. You could have as much as you want to eat, but you're not getting any more meat today. No more animal flesh. And that's really, really inspired me even deeper to look further into this, that know that I am on the right track. Because here I am, 2 years being a vegetarian, one who eats food that only food that vegetates. Here I am now in Africa, and they're stingy with meat. So I knew I was on the right track.
Yes.
And this really emboldened me even more. So to be here now today, full circle, we're bringing the message home loud and clear right now. You don't have to be sick.
Ashe. Amen. So it is. Claim it right now. Claim it right now. You don't have to be sick. I'm taking that in. I'm taking that in.
And you see me right now, this is one of the reasons why I'm not sick, because I don't drink empty, blank, nothing water.
Yeah.
I'm drinking coconut water with life. And today is the first day of my fast.
Yes.
I'm fasting for 78 days.
Yes.
So,
wow.
Sharita, continue.
Yes.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Okay, so because he is doing a lot of water, we might have a few interruptions, in between. But again, I'm just very glad that everybody was able to come and that you're watching online. I'm Dr. Sharita. I didn't introduce myself. I'm Dr. Sharita. I'm a naturopath. I'm with New Body Products, founded by Dr. Paul Goss, the late the late, great Dr. Paul Goss, who's my father, and my mother, who's still with us, Mrs. Alzonia Goss. And we started in 1976 in Compton, California. And we're still there in the community as activists, helping people to, we've done, help people get off of drugs, help people get through all kind of diseases, even during the AIDS crisis, cancer, fibroid, prostate, you name it. There's a solution to all these problems because of our, healers like Dr. Aris here. So my next question, this is one of the challenges I have a lot with my clients. What challenges did you face as you introduced and promoted Sunfired cuisine to an audience unfamiliar with raw, plant-based living?
Yeah, it's interesting. I've, as you heard, I've been acclaimed by the Oxford Encyclopedia of Food and Drink in America. This was the 2004 edition, and they repeated again in 2012 edition. This was this article that they wrote on the history of vegetarianism. And they went back to some Greek European, that supposedly started the movement back then. And they went through chronicling the entire history of vegetarianism on this planet. And then when they get to the 21st century, and they're speaking about, the raw food movement, and they mention me that, I am considered the father of ethical gourmet raw food in America. And this is the Oxford Encyclopedia out of London that is acclaiming this. So what happened during the time when I got into this in 1976, there were very few people eating all completely raw foods. The ones that were eating raw foods, they were sick. So it was mostly a way of healing. People with terminal cancer, different forms of terminal diseases, that the doctors pretty much just boot them out. Just take them home, let him rest and enjoy, the rest of his days. We can't do nothing for them now. So these were the people who were primarily into raw food at the time, thanks to Ann Wigmore, this beautiful lady from Lithuania, who kind of brought it into perspective in modern time. Healing people with cancer, with mostly using greens, herbs, especially wheatgrass and things of this nature. So when I got into it, I was not sick. I was not ill, other than, that little stroke, brush I had with that heart murmur. That's just, basically eating all the heavy fat and the heavy starch, in this new eating system. It pretty much just filled me up with mucus, and I couldn't breathe well enough, and what that was all about. But within a matter of months of eating Sunfired foods, that was gone. So coming into it as an eater, so I could not handle, food for sick folks, because it was very basic, very plain, very bland, no seasoning, no salt, nothing to stimulate you wanting to want more. So it was really totally designed for people who were ill. So literally what I did, I just stepped on it. I spiced it based on having grown up in grandma's kitchen, and my mother's kitchen, because, we are high flavor people. So this is what I did. This is what I brought to this so-called raw food movement. What I brought is making it accessible to people who were not ill. So I literally invented an entire cuisine, and sometimes I can really just, stick out my chest and put out my logo and said, show me another human being ever on this planet that has single-handedly invented a whole cuisine from A to Z, from soup to nuts.
I can't think of one.
Please. So, we're bringing it back home. We're bringing it back home, and there's a lot of stuff that we have done that we have not been acknowledged. But that's cool, because as we accept the mantle of being the original people on earth, we know we're responsible for everything that happens here. So that's why we position ourselves to make sure that we make this accessible to all humanity, because they're all our children. And we're going to make sure whether you ready or not, you're going to be healed.
Yes.
Because this food is killing you and you're sick and tired, so you're coming home. They are coming home right now.
Yes.
So we got to bring them home. And this is one of the reasons I'm sitting here right now today, because we're going to have, an academy here, at least one.
Yes.
I've been commissioned by India already. India they want 10 million people in India as soon as possible eating 100% sun-fired foods.
Wow.
India.
Wow.
So we're setting up a system to set up franchises of the Sunfired Academy in India to train and have 10 million people eating sun-fired food, because they have a population of 1.4 billion. And they know that their concept of vegetarianism is outdated. So the fat belly guru, no more. Okay? All the milk and the butter, it's got to go. So they want to bring their concept of vegetarianism up to the 21st century, which some people call today veganism. And mind, I don't use that word. I'm not a vegan. That's about animal rights. I am an African who eat food that vegetate. A vegan to me, well, there's no place for that.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk a little bit about that, because I know there's a lot of politics in food. There's a lot of way of playing on words for commercial reasons to help people to buy this. And as you go to the market, sometimes you're confused when you start to become vegetarian. You don't know what to buy. You got gluten-free, you got this, you got all these different, non-GMO, you just don't, know what to do. Right. And then it's like vegan, vegetarian, plant-based, gluten-free. I mean, it just goes on. So I wanted to talk about the differences between vegan, vegetarian, and plant-based, which is the three that's kind of thrown out a lot. And then which one do you find yourself as the category?
Well, let me tell you one thing. The word veganism was coined in 1942 by an Englishman. And his whole thing was he wanted to distinguish between people who are vegetarians for animal rights purposes more than anything else. So a vegan is someone who don't eat animals, don't eat flesh, because they want to protect the animals. They're like about animal rights, which is fine. We've been doing that for some time, because once we acknowledge that me as a human being, as an individual, I'm in this body, I'm in this flesh, I'm living in an animal, and I want to protect my rights as an animal, so I am not going to eat other animals, because I know they're going to rot in my system and rot me out. The same way they break down in the trash bin with worms and maggots and flies and all of these negative bacteria, that's the way they break down in your gut. So for me, to defend my life, I don't need the title of vegan to do that. So I'm still what they might call old-fashioned, so I use the word vegetarianism. So I am a vegetarian. I eat foods that vegetate. So in coming up with this terminology vegan, then they have people slip through the crack calling themselves lacto-ovo-vegetarian.
Yeah.
Either you're a vegetarian or you're not. Lacto-ovo, because you eat eggs and cheese and milk. You're a special vegetarian? Lacto-ovo? Then for goodness sake, I know a whole bunch of pork vegetarians.
And people still eating fish.
Damn right. Fish vegetarians and all of it. So they should have actually called the other people, they should have stuck with what the man intended. Is that people who are into animal rights, they are damn vegans. But we are vegetarians. We're into human rights. This human as an animal. And so that terminology. But look, this is 1942. Have you heard of the terminology ahimsa? From India, ahimsa, it means the same damn thing. Buddhism means the same damn thing. People who don't eat animals. And look, Ital, the Rastas, we've been around in Jamaica since the days of Marcus Garvey, the 1930s, 1940s, 1950. And this guy comes up in 1942, but Ital, then if anything, I'm an Italist then. And Ital just means naturalist. You know, if I must take on a label, let me take on a label that I resemble, that came from my roots. You know, it's the same thing as, you know, hanging somebody's picture on your wall and say, this is my God, this is my Savior, and you don't look like that person, you know. But anyway.
Yes. You know, Doc, you're really a generous person. When you get to know Doc, you'll find out through his history that he's been very, very generous. I've been an experience of that. I joke around a lot and tell people that I slept in Dr. Aris's bed, you know. So the first thing goes to people, you slept, you know. And I was like, okay, get your dirty minds together. Okay. So I turned 30. I was living in Atlanta. I turned 30 and I wanted to go to Jamaica for my birthday. So me and my husband, we went over and I asked Doc, I said, can I come stay with you? He's like, yeah, you can come stay with me. And we got there. He was staying in the grill. And this big white house. I mean, I've never been in a place like that. Every single thing was white. Everything, the walls, the shutters, the carpet, everything, the bed sheets, the bathrooms, everything was white. Everything was white, and it was real open and airy. And so when we get there, you know, we're just already tripping off the house. And then he said, okay, let me show you to your room. And then he said, I'm giving you guys my room. And I was like, you know, because he's an elder, we're 30, you know, usually it's the other way around. You move out the way so the elder can come into your space. But so me and my husband, and I'm saying husband, my ex-husband, okay? So just in case y'all not getting that part. But we're in the room, we're like, did he just give us his room? This is his bed. And I mean, it was laid out. And you can tell Doc is like a romantic. He has, what is it? Tiger stripe, tiger print, you know, skin sheets and things like that. It was just, you know, and then he made food for us. He made sure that we got around. We wanted to go to other places. He made sure that we, you know, got proper drivers, you know, and things like that. And just generous. And he's been that way. You know, people, even just recently, in October, I was in America and I'm like, oh, it's a lot. It just, sometimes it just gets to be so much. That's why I'm so glad to be here in Ghana. And I just felt like I was just feeling tired and I was eating junk food. I just couldn't seem to break some of these bad habits. I always keep it vegan, but sometimes we get to, you know, munching on these vegan cookies, you know, 1 o'clock in the morning watching Netflix. I'm guilty. And so I just said, you know what, I just need to get away. I just need to get away from everything. And so one morning he calls me, 5:30 in the morning, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't know what Doc is calling me about, but I know what I'm about to tell him. I'm coming to Panama. But finally coming to Panama. So he calls and tells me that he wants to come to Ghana, and this is how we started this in I think it was early October.
Correct.
So after we talked about that, we said, okay, fine, no problem. You know, I brought him here. This is the third time that I brought him here. Your fourth time being here.
Yeah.
And so he said, I said, I need to come to Panama. I just need to get away. He said, well, come. These are the dates that's open. Just get here, and then I'll take care of the rest. You know, because it's one of those things that as healers, we know we need to take out that time to heal ourselves. And it's good to go to another healer, not to be so proud to go to another healer. You don't have to always do it yourself, which comes to the reason why we're doing a healer's retreat, you know, this weekend. That's what it's all about. We got to help each other because we don't always have it right. We don't always have it together. We have trials and tribulations just like everybody else, and sometimes it knocks you off your throne. You know what I'm saying? And as healers, as we come together, I was knocked off my throne, and he was like, I get over there, one thing he kept saying is, welcome back to self. Welcome back to self. You know, and so it just, you know, it was something I needed. And like I said, he's just real generous about that. And especially when he knows that you're out here working, because he understands, you know, this business is one thing to be into wellness and things like that. But in the business of wellness, trying to take care of our people, ain't no money in it. Y'all be thinking that this, the charges that he's charging is taking care of everything. But you see money coming in, but you don't know what's going out. You don't know all the different things that goes into this. These little things that come up, these incidents that come up that you don't know, don't see coming. And you also got to fight against the system in a sense. So you got to protect yourself, and make sure that, we have a group that we can refer to. So if something goes down, we can call on somebody. No, as far as like Dr. Sabi, he shouldn't have been in jail all that time, and nobody knew about it until after he passes. You know what I'm saying? If we had came together, we would have probably been able to prevent. Could go there and say, hold on, what's going on with our brother? Why is he just locked up? How come we can't? You know what I'm saying? But there was nothing, there was no way of knowing until after, it was done. So even after that, in 2015, 16, somewhere in there, we had got together in Arizona with about 50 healers. And that was supposed to be the thing to say, okay, no more of this. It's easy to come together, but to stay together.
That's right.
Because we did have some other incidents that happened where we should have came together and, it didn't happen. And it's a serious thing because people, at one point in time, my children was worried about me coming back home because she said, Mom, they're killing the healers. They're just killing them. I mean, literally murdering. You know what I'm saying? Being shot and being found in their apartment with gun bullet to their head, found in the river dead. I remember a lady from Jamaica, she was around 40, and she came up with a way to get rid of glaucoma using cannabis. So she had these drops. Next thing you know, she's found dead, stabbed to death. Wow. And I'm not talking about this little, I'm talking about murdering us. You know what I'm saying? So the number, somebody said they got up to like 300, something like that, and they said it kind of started with these 15 holistic healers that was coming together to deal with AIDS. And they had some solutions. And it was like, no, you can't cut into our money. You can't come and cut into the industry, into the drugs, So, it's one of those things where people got to understand the sacrifice that you have to go through to do what you do. You know what I'm saying? To help, especially helping African people around the globe. That's something that they don't want, and so they don't understand. A lot of people don't understand the challenges that we face just dealing with that. I remember my father saying, "Oh, they're bugging the phones. They're listening in." And as a child, you're like, "Okay, I just want to play. Who's listening?" You know what I'm saying? But as I got older, it was like, "Oh, wow, this thing is real." You know what I'm saying? So you have to really watch, and so I'm coming to the next question. That you've educated and inspired so many people. And can you share a memorable story or moment that reaffirmed your purpose to keep in this movement?
Wow. Well, I tell you, one of the things, as you had asked the previous question, how did I get people to, accept Sunfired foods, eating these raw foods? As I mentioned, I just stepped on it. I spiced it, because to get people now who obviously need this food but don't understand, can't conceptualize when someone says raw food, because you're having people now thinking of like, this man is going to have me eating raw yams and raw potatoes and raw rice and raw pasta and all of these things. No. So I moved away from that word raw completely, So in now coining the word Sunfired in 1979 in Harlem, we're now serving Sunfired foods, not raw food. And just in our community, just introducing it just this way, many people just automatically will look at the word and even hear the word, and they would say sun-fried foods. Wow. So it rings a bell. There is an association of how you use word, the sound, the power of sound to influence people. So many people really just went into just calling it fried food, sun-fried food, and they'll look at it, the smell, and they still see fried. So that gave me a clue, you know, to really associate but don't imitate. So, you know, associate but don't imitate. So I always stayed away from mock anything, mock tuna, you know, meat analog and things of this nature. So always keeping that foundation is fresh, but the big key is just make it taste great. Because this is what I realized why many of us are eating some of the food that we're eating is the flavor. It's the taste. You know, a lot of us, we can even put ourselves to the test even right now today. If you love chicken, test yourself to see how much you really love that chicken. Take that blank pale bird and dunk it in some boiling water and scald that thing and eat it. No salt, no seasoning, no spice, no herbs, no oil. Oh, you're gonna eat that? You don't like chicken. Shut up. You hate chicken. You are not gonna eat that pale blank dead bird like that. And then all you know, somebody got to do is go in the back room and smother it, literally smother it, and disguise it, fry it in peanut oil. You know, oh, this is nice. Oh, I love this. Put the curry on it, put the, you know, your favorite spices in there, and it's the same blank dead bird. So they can. It's the sauce, it's the flavor, it's the seasoning. So this is what we did. We brought home herbs, home spices, and make it. So you could take anything. That's what they do today. Someone would take even a piece of soybean, tofu, that has nothing, no flavor, no taste, no nothing, no color, bland, bloop, just like the chicken. And they soak it in soy sauce and put all the seasoning. And you think tofu is like the best thing ever for someone who don't want to eat animals. Let's come on back home. Let's come home. So right now, today, you know, and if you know, when you come to the feast that we're having here on the 11th, and I serve up some cauliflower nuggets.
Yes,
you're going to be like, damn.
That was good.
So I'm not calling it vegan or raw chicken nuggets. It's just cauliflower nuggets. You know, when I serve up that hamburger, it makes you hum.
Hum. Yes.
Or that sun burger. And it looks exactly like what your child wants. And then, Mom, get me one of those. And you do like that. This is one of the most memorable moments. You asking me for that memorable moment? This is it. Harlem, New York, 1980. The Harlem Summer Festival, Harlem Week. The big show that day, that Sunday. We got a booth on the boulevard, a booth as big as this room right here, on the boulevard, and we're serving up Sunfired Foods, and we're making it right there in the booth, because we go stoveless anywhere we go. We stoveless. We don't need no stove. We don't need no microwave, no oven, none of that kind of stuff. So we're making the food right there in the street at this festival, and I got the Sunburger stacked up. And he's probably about 12 years old. He's passing by. Mom, I want one of those. Get him a Sunburger. They come back about 6 hours later. Damn, that was good. What kind of meat was that? I said, nut meat. Nut? I don't eat nut. That was nuts? I hate nuts. You mean we ate a nut? No meat in there? You're damn right. The association.
Yeah.
They look, but if I had said this was, you know, instead of a sun burger, I would say, you know, a mock burger, a fake burger, an imitation burger, a vegetarian burger. They would have never even crossed the line. So the association, make it look like what they want. or make it look exciting, but when they bite it, then we put their taste bud under arrest. It's the flavor, it's the taste. So there is a whole chemistry, you know, there's a whole alchemy of, you know, what is the anatomy of flavoring and spicing. And today, most of us drop dead. Sugar, salt, and fat in the same bite, and you love it. Sugar, salt, and fat. You look at all the processed foods in all of your supermarkets, everywhere. Sugar, salt, and fat in one way or the other. So your taste buds have been paralyzed to just this one taste, a universal taste. Sugar, salt, and fat. You see, they take that French fry out of the grease. The French fry, the potato is supposed to be sugar. The body, it's a complex carbohydrate. You're supposed to refine it, take it, and turn it into sugar. So they take that, you know, wannabe sugar, that potato, fry it in oil. They're actually not even frying it these days. These folks are so obscene, they're boiling it in oil. It's not like they're just frying the potato, turn it from one side to the next and make it get crispy. They're boiling it in oil at something like 500 degrees. Your body cannot break that oil down. You cannot break cooked fat down like that. And the first thing they do when they take it out of that boiling oil, they shake salt on it. So you don't have a choice. But you eat it, oh my God. These are the best fries ever.
And it's addictive.
Sugar, salt, and fat. And you go see all these processed products. This is a dope. This is drug. Anytime you process any food, you turn it into a drug. So we are addictive. And now we got to wake up. So now we got to pretty much come to, this is like a halfway house here. This is a treatment house. This is a half, when you come into a halfway
rescue center.
house.
That's a new one for me. Rescue center.
And you know, rescue center.
I like that.
And when you come to my institute, when you come to our farm, ask Dr. Sharita, you come to that farm, we got 700 acres. Oof. We got 38,000 coconut trees that are bearing and another 20,000 that's going to be bearing in the next 5 years. We have coconut water done at all. So who needs to drink blank, empty, recycled toilet water? You know, all this kind of stuff they do.
We're gonna come to the
Purified water and all of this stuff.
We definitely gonna come to the water thing because that's a
so we're gonna get to the water
thing.
But this thing, we are addicted to a certain flavor. So they could put anything. They say, you know, your bread got cellulose in it, fortified with. What the heck is cellulose? It's sawdust. It's wood. It's paper. And they just season it up, and you love it.
It's waste.
It's waste. The potato chips, all of this stuff, you love it. So we need to come back home. We need to come back to that high African flavor vibration. But let's do this with our vegetables. We can do it with the eggplant. We can do it with anything and make it taste great. We could use harsapam. We could use banana blossom, that purple bulb on the banana. We use soursop, one of my most famous dishes today. You can go see it online. The filet of soul sop, made with the ripe soursop. We peel it, fillet it, and if you want to take the sugar out, we freeze it, throw it out the next day, and the sugar comes out as syrup. And that soursop don't taste, no sugar in it. And we season it, flaxseed, seaweeds, and we make it look and taste like what you want. A piece of filet of soul, you know, a piece of fish that's been battered and it looks like it's fried. No, we do it in the dehydrator. Or you can do it in the sun. So there's so much. So we're here to share this with you. We're here for this feast coming up. This feast coming up on the 11th, a big Ghanaian royal feast. And I didn't bring any food here. So all the food we're going to use is from here. And during our certification course, the morning of the 10th, we're doing an indigenous African food presentation. The groundnut soup.
For the students.
Raw, live. And you come home, you'll see. So everything. We could do a live version of any killer recipe on the planet. So
How do you say that? You say you can detoxify any...
We detoxify the recipe. We detoxify the recipe. So you can go online, you know, jollof rice from Ghana. It's like, okay, let me detox this. What's wrong with the chicken? God damn, who wants chicken? You could put something else in there. You could put broccoli. You could put eggplant. You know, you dehydrate, and you get the texture of chicken. You could put the green jackfruit. You know, pulled jackfruit. You could use the green jackfruit and turn it into flesh because it has the texture. Same thing, the banana blossom. There's so many things. The bamboo shoot. You could turn that. It's the texture. It's the texture. And then we just spice it and make it taste just. So we just use the same seasoning that you use. But that seasoning, we want to make sure there's no MSG in it. There's no such little thing on there that says mixed spice or approved spices. Those are code words for garbage, for chemicals that's going to hurt you in some way or the other. But let's get back into the kitchen. And this thing about eating out, even here in Ghana, you know, you're eating stuff that someone just got some mixed spice and put it in there, and it's a whole bunch of chemicals. And they make it taste exciting and interesting, but be careful with the fat. Be careful with the heated fat. Be careful with fried food and fried starch with oil, coconut oil, any oil. Palm oil, the body cannot break it down. And we end up with cholesterol, we end up with a whole bunch of challenges. So let's basically come back to basic.
Yes.
Basic.
Yes.
Whole lot of fruits, whole lot of vegetables, and let's now get creative in the kitchen. And this is what we're here to do, to unleash your creative culinary energy and teach you how to defend your life. This is now self-defense. Eating is about self-defense right now. And you're not going to be sick, guaranteed.
Ashe.
I'm
keep claiming it. Keep saying it. Keep claiming it. So, okay. So, while Doc is out, I just wanted to talk about the schedule. So on Friday, we have the Peanut Butter Kids at the Botanical Gardens in Abri. That's going to be from 11 to 2. We're going to do culinary art with the children, ages 5 to 16. Everybody's going to bring, you know, different stuff like this, but we're going to have a table like this, but it's going to be food, a big thing of food, and then we're just going to go into it. He's going to help the children to create. He's going to allow them to bring out their own creative juices to make certain things. You know, we want the children to feel like when they walk away, they can go home and do the same thing. You know, so that's Friday. The Healers Retreat is from the 4th. It's the 4th and 5th. It's going to be at a Hoto Healing Center in Prom. Now that's for people who are healers, people who's here doing the work. We're trying to come together, take a break, take care of each other, massage on each other, do reflexology, do spiritual baths, just all sound baths, just so many different things. And it is invitation only, but you can get in touch with us to find out, how you can be invited. So, but definitely, we're looking for healers to come. And then the certification course is going to be January 6th to the 13th, where Doc will be teaching, I think, about 12 modules of different foods. Like you said, Friday would be the Ghanaian, raw. And trust me, it can be done. Some people don't think it can be done. But we had red soup. And red soup is one of my favorite soups here. But when we had it raw, I didn't think it can be done. Because when you have your favorite, right? So I didn't think it could be done. But I was like, wait a minute. And Asante had to remind me. I said, you know what? You're right. We did have raw, And so, and then the flavor, it was just so good. It's one of my favorites. And so we're gonna also, so that's the certification course. Okay, and then the feast, the royal feast, the famous royal feast that you've been doing. I remember going to a royal feast in Atlanta in the late 1990s. I think it was the late 1990s. Somewhere, I felt like it was at Soul Vegetarian, I'm not really sure, but I remember it was somewhere in the West End. And I just remember coming, and I remember you had these twins that was with you, the sisters.
Shanae and Colita.
Okay,
Right,
yeah.
right,
So
right.
I think we went.
Millet burger twins.
Oh, okay. So we went back, right?
Made out of millet.
Yeah. So I remember.
Oh, it was at Delights of the Garden.
Okay. Yeah.
These were students of mine in Atlanta that had a whole raw food. There are like 5 of them. One in New York, one in Cleveland,
DC,
and they really blew it out. It was amazing.
Yeah. So that was my first time having. I mean, I had your cuisine when you came to California. I think my father brought you to Arizona or something like that.
Right.
But to sit in the feast, I remember having so many different varieties.
Yeah, we have at least a 12 course.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, wow, and you can't believe how tasty the food is. But he had us in mind when it came down to taste, and so there was things that you're thinking, like pizza, like how you make a raw pizza, you know what I'm saying? And lasagna, how you make a raw lasagna and raw spaghetti, and it's all about flavor. It's all about flavor. Right. It's all about flavor, like you said.
Texture.
Yes.
With plants.
So you guys are really in for a treat, because this will be your second time doing it here in Ghana.
That's correct.
This Royal Feast.
That's correct.
And your second time actually doing the course here as well, here in Ghana. Yes. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be at the Nbuke Foundation here in East Legon from 1 to 4. And please get your tickets early, because there's only 100 spots, and that can go. That can go pretty quick. The tickets are 800 Ghana cedis, or $50 maybe if you're paying online or whatever. It's $50, and you're gonna. That's not even enough. Honestly, it's not even enough. I mean, I would pay 150, 200 for a feast like that.
Well, I mean, look,
because it's an expensive.
Yeah, but see,
array of things.
We have a private family that has asked us to prepare one for them here, and it's $300 per person.
Yeah.
I mean, we're
value.
serving the best.
Yes.
We're serving the best.
You can't put a price on
it. But basically, that's the point. You can't put a price on it.
You can't put a price, because it's your health.
The whole thing is, we want to live in a healthy body. Number one, first and foremost. And you cannot build a healthy body with basically foods that are going to clog you up, because it's going to cost you more money if you get sick, and you cannot get better. This is like a dead end. There's certain foods that are a complete dead end.
Gallstone operation, $10,000.
So what I'm doing now, see what I'm doing with this fast right now, the human body is 70% liquid. So I am keeping my body hydrated. So for now, what I'm doing, this is a 78-day fast. It's important for me to share this with you. See, right now, I have already drank 3 of these for the day. One watermelon, 2 coconut water. So I'm on the 4th one already. By the end of the day, I would drink at least 6 of these, which we're talking a good gallon and a half, maybe 2 gallons of but I'm not consuming anything else whatsoever. So I'm going to be doing this for 78 days, because I'll be 78 July 24th. So every year since I turned 68, I fast 1 day for every year that I have lived. So last year I did 77 days. This year I'm doing 78 days. So what I am doing when I'm doing this, number one, I'm giving my digestive system a vacation. Not a rest, but a vacation. We eat too damn much and too frequent and too big a loads.
Yeah.
So we're backed up with uneliminated food. The average meal that you're eating, it takes 2.5 days for it to actually go through your system. So a lot of what we're calling today disease is toxemia, it's waste, it's garbage that's been sitting around in the system for 30, 40, 50, 60 years, and it's just rotting us out. But our digestive system gets tired. and we can't process food anymore. So at my age, when I'm starting doing things like this, what I'm doing now for the next 78 days, I am hydrating the body. I'm flooding it with liquids. So what is going on? All of the heavy, dense fat, nuts and seeds or grains and beans and all these things that we've been eating that we haven't been able to burn and turn into sugar, these things have just been drying out in the body. Call it cholesterol, call it kidney stones, you name it. So now what I'm doing, and this is why at my age,
Yes.
77,
Yes.
okay?
Can I do that?
Look, no
Let me
stiffness.
see, can I do that? Okay, I'm just
No
checking. I'm
stiffness,
just
no
checking.
pains. I am climbing coconut trees today at this age. I can jump off the next story and land right there on my feet, and I don't need a hip replacement. I don't need nothing. So this is the kind of stuff that we're sharing with you. So for me to do this, I am allowing my body now to basically reset. To reset. So anything that I've eaten over the past year now that has been dried out in my body, now it's going to start melting. And it comes out, this mucus. So mostly it is fat, grease, and starch. Potato, rice, macaroni, pasta, whatever, yams, all of this stuff. These hard, dry, dense food that we wash down with some water, 8 glasses of water a day. So even though people say I don't drink water, I drink water. This is what I drink.
Yeah, so tell us more about the water as far as like why you, what stopped you from drinking water, or why you stopped drinking?
Well, what I've realized, number one, first of all, water dilutes everything it comes in contact with. It even dilutes me. So when I'm encouraged to drink 8 glasses of water a day, just blank, empty, nothing. The water has no minerals for me, no vitamins, nothing. And I'm drinking, this is, I mean, don't tell me this is not water.
It's water.
This
God's
is water.
From
The
God.
difference is, this is structured water.
Yeah.
This is structured water. This water that came through a plant, a tree, a coconut tree that filtered it, took out the impurities and structured it, organized it so it's not compatible with my body, and the inorganic minerals, the calcium, potassium, and all these things that were in the water from the earth, the tree filtered them and made them organic. So now I can use the minerals that are in here. When you are drinking just plain spring water, bottled water, if it has minerals, they're inorganic, they're hard minerals. You can't get no value from those minerals. But if it's been processed through a tree, now you're going to get a lot. So they're using reverse osmosis, water purification, alkaline machines and stuff like that to imitate the trees. But they're taking everything out and making it so that all that water does for you, it hydrates you. But this water is going to give me life, energy, vitality. So it's coconut water has 10% sugar. So what I'm doing now for the 20 days that I'm here now, for the rest of this month of January, mostly I'm going to be doing mango. So I'm taking the mango. I'm taking mangoes like this. So I would take one mango like this, blend it in a bottle of coconut water like this. Cut it up, peel it, cut it up, take it off the seed, take the mango flesh, put it in a blender, blend it with coconut water, and press it out. So I'm literally drinking mango juice. But when I press it out, there's no fiber left in it. There's no pulp. I drink it like I'm drinking water. So it's not just coconut water I'm drinking, the watermelon juice, the pineapple juice, the orange juice. These are the things, high moisture, but I'm now drinking them with coconut water because I'm getting my sugar, my mineral. So I'm getting everything that I need. But what I'm doing, I am bypassing my digestive system. So my digestive system is not going to work for 78 days. So it's going to go on a vacation. It's going to chill. And my body is going to now focus on eliminating. What do I have to eliminate? You'll be surprised. After 40, 50 days of only drinking liquids like this, I'm going to be having bowel movements still. You know, but it's all that stuff that you feel in your body, all this big muscles and fats and, you know, calcification and all of this stuff. The body has to get rid of this. You cannot keep packing it for 30, 40 years. At least you rotate the stock, empty it out, and put in a fresh batch every year. But not to have the same old peanuts in your body, you know, for 30, 40, 50 years. It dries out. It becomes like cement, calcification, so you get stiff. You can't do this at 77. You have glaucoma. Glaucoma is starch. Yeah.
Alzheimer's.
You want to be able to take those glasses and throw them away because you don't need no crutches anymore. You know, all of these things. The kidney stones, all of this, the cellulites, you name it. All of this stuff is just old, dried out, rotten food that we've been storing. So we need to empty the basket and restock. So you see what's going to happen. I take pictures, photos every day. And you're going to see, like after 50, 60 days, I am even much more lighter. I can climb the coconut tree faster because I've emptied the waste. I can climb the coconut tree faster. I can run faster. Normally, I run 3 to 6 miles a day. 3 to 6 miles a day. So you constantly keep burning this. But this one time of the year, you're going to just empty out your feet, you're a man, and you see the dried out feet, the scales on your foot, all of this stuff, you're going to get baby feet again. So I encourage you, once you hit 40, you need to start thinking of fasting one day for every year that you have lived. So 40 days. You read some scriptures. They say, oh, so-and-so fasted 40 days and 40 nights.
Yeah.
You forgot that? What happened? Why aren't you? They even got the damn Lent, Easter, you know, from Good Friday, and you're supposed to be for those 40 days and 40 nights. You're not supposed to fornicate. You're not supposed to drink alcohol. You're not supposed to eat no meat or anything like that. You're supposed to take a rest. And what are we doing? We're eating more. Easter. Yeah, that's when you're supposed to have your royal feast, you break the fast and all of this stuff. But this is scientific, and you got to allow your body to be. You know, disease is waste, is garbage. So let's, you know, come on back home. Come back home to self. Come back to the body that you were born to love. And you could be 60, 70 years old. You could do it right now. You can get started right now. It's never too late. And you're going to see the arthritis, the high blood pressure, all of that is gone.
Never
it's
too
gone.
late. Never too late.
But it's hard to break the addiction.
So can we talk about that? Can we talk about addiction? Because people, you know, they're just coming into being vegetarian. They just stop eating the, you know, all their, you know, they're trying to get rid of all their favorite addictions and things like that. I know, like me, sometimes I go on this sweet binge. Like I said, I keep it vegan, but you know, it's still sugar, it's still sugar. And so one of the ways I break it is I drink a lot of watermelon juice or some kind of juice, whether it's pineapple, whatever, and then that sweet, after the natural sweet kicks in and takes over and does the job, then my addiction goes away after about 3 or 4 days of just doing straight juice. So what are some of the things that people can do to help get rid of some of addiction? Like what was some of your addictions and how did you get rid of it?
Well, some of my addictions are still here and it still come back to sweets. Okay. We run on sugar. Everything that we eat needs to be broken down into a simple grape-like sugar. So, but we are getting our sugar from things that the body cannot process. Trying to take potatoes and rice and yam to make sugar from it is impossible. And this is our problem. If you're eating all of this starch, you're not going to be able to enjoy all the oranges and the papayas and the mangoes and these things. So we need to come back to the original sugar. Sugarcane juice, but it's going to knock you out, because what it's going to do, these fruits are going to go into your tissues and start pulling out the dried out starch. And when that comes back into your bloodstream, it registers sugar. But the doctors, the way they have been trained, they're going to blame it on the fruit, because now the fruit is the medicine. So they tell you, stop the fruit because you got diabetes. Stop eating fruits. And then 10 years later, they're putting you on insulin, and you didn't eat fruits for 10 years. So what was the fruit factor? It's the starch, it's the starch, it's the starch. It's the rice, the macaroni, and all these things. So we have to, the first protocol is we have to get rid of the cause. And the doctors are not going to tell you that the cause is the starch, because they don't know food.
And they don't make money. They don't make money.
They don't make money.
I'll tell you the truth.
So you have to get rid of the cause, number one. Keep it off your plate. But it's hard, because it's a dope. So you got to work with it.
It's a drug, yeah.
And then simultaneously, you need the herbs. You need to do detox. You need to go ahead. You see the CKLS, yes. You know, the colon, the liver, the spleen, the kidneys. The liver is your filter. You got to clean it out. You got to clean it out. So this is where the herbs come in. This is where certain fruits come in. Certain vegetables come in, turmeric, ginger, and things of that nature. And most of the herbs and stuff that we're talking about, they're food anyway. But try to get as much of them fresh, because you want that water. You want that water out of the echinacea. You want the water even out of the mint, even out of the turmeric, you know, the turmeric juice, because the electrical energy in that water is what's going to help you. As Dr. Sharita had mentioned, someone with glaucoma got healed with cannabis, you know, but you need that fresh cannabis. You need the juice with everything else. But the herb is going to help, but you have to be careful of smoking it. The herb is for the healing of the nation, and fire kills the nation. Fire kills the herb, and it also brings out toxins out of the herb. So when you're doing herbal tea, you steep it. You don't boil herbal tea.
Right.
So why are you going to take a herb like ganja and roll it up and torch it? Yes, you're getting the medicine, but you're getting the toxins out. But a lot of us, we've learned that already. That's why many of you are already here in this room, because you know that this is not the way to go. But what we need to do is just gradually, if we need to if we have time. Some of us don't have the time because we are facing a medical crisis and we don't have a choice. And then when the doctor boots you out, yeah, you're going to come to me.
Yes,
we even had a conversation yesterday with someone that's trying to come to me. And if you're going to come to us, you need to understand that you're going to be responsible. You bring in your son. You're going to be responsible for this guy. I am not a healer, number one. And I don't believe in medicine per se. What I believe in is that the body is totally self-healing, 100%. But if you're busy trying to digest some macaroni, the body would never going to get to heal. You're busy trying to digest some fufu and kenke and all this heavy, hard food, your body will never get around to healing. So we need to stop distracting it by having tried to do things that we cannot process. So a lot of these foods that we're talking about, even the innocent fonio, yeah, it's a grain. But it's only been 6,000 years that we've been eating fonio in Africa. And we've been on this planet for 1 million years. Is fonio really food? They're starch. This is what they tell you, they're starch. So we need to re-examine a lot of this concept. You can get your sugar from fruits. You're better off getting your sugar from fruits rather than trying to boil a piece of cassava. Because now when you boil the cassava, when you boil the green plantain, you have to go out now and turn it into sugar. You have to make sugar from it. And if you're not out there running like Usain Bolt and you're sitting on the couch eating that potato, you're going to get diabetes, you're going to get arthritis, you're going to get kidney stone, you're going to get a whole bunch of problems.
You're going to get fat.
You're going to get fat because you never eat the starch without the fat. The palm oil, you know that. You try to eat some certain starch without palm oil, without peanut oil, without baobab oil, it's not going to digest. Olive oil, vegetable oil, whatever it is not going down. You want to slide it down. But starch and fat don't mix. And worse, when you fry it. So it's a whole new level of education.
So, Doc, what about salt? Like
Salt.
if somebody's trying to, because, you know, I find that the hardest thing is the discipline and the obedience. No matter how long you've been vegetarian or whatever, these things, these influences are always around you, especially if you live in the hood. And it does become a challenge. So my mission is to get to addiction and how do we deal with that. And then once we get the solution to that, I believe that it's going to be easier for people to deal with wanting to have, I mean, everybody wants a healthy body, but deal with actually having an ultimate diet, you know what I'm saying, to where they're like you, all these years, you've done it, and then you've been able to stay away, you know, from these addictions. So we talked about sugar. Salt is definitely another one. And then I want you to go into fat. So alternatives for salt and alternatives for fatty, you know, like fatty foods.
So the whole thing is, number one, we need to make peace with starch. That is our biggest challenging group. The grains, including the rice, the beans, including the black eyed peas that we make akara balls with, and the deep roots, like the cassava, like the yams and things of this nature. These foods don't break down efficiently in the body, and they're mostly starch. Even the beans, yeah, we get protein from beans, but most of them is only 30%. The other 70% is starch. So you have to go through twice the amount of starch to get to the protein in the beans. So, but if you're going to eat these foods, there's a way to safely approach them. Number one, just because we have the power of fire and we can just take rice and boil it and pump water into it so we can make it edible, it's still not going to be digestible. So the problem is not, if it cannot digest, then you cannot turn it into sugar. So we have to be in a position to eat something, say like rice, but you want to activate it. You want to sprout it. You want to soak it. Even your beans, you want to soak the beans. You want to soak the quinoa. You want to soak the fonio. You could actually soak fonio for 12 hours, and the next day you can eat it. And it's just as good as cooking it. Fonio is the easiest one. You steam fonio for 5 minutes and it's nice and soft, it's edible. So fonio is good, but the problem is once we start cooking now and then we adding the oil to it, then fonio is going to be a problem. So the finer grains, the fonio, the millet, the teff, the amaranth, this doesn't have a lot of starch, but you have to soak them so that you can remove what is called the enzyme inhibitors, so that the digestive enzyme in the germ that's locked in the core of these seeds, of these grains, is now able to digest, help in their own digestion. So if you don't soak them, you're going to be in trouble. And if you just turn them into flour, more trouble. So at least activate them. But understand that most of these grains, they're seed for cereal grass. So you could take the grain and you could soak it, you could germinate it, you could sprout it, and you plant it, and you have microgreens. The little, you remember the chia pet?
Sprouts, yeah.
You remember the chia pet? The chia doll? It's chia seeds. And you spray it, so you wet it, so you remove the enzyme inhibitor, and it germinates, and now it activates, and you see it start growing, these little grass, this furry little pet, and then you threw it away. You should have eaten the chia grass, because there's seeds for cereal grass. Now what you did in soaking it, germinating it, sprouting it, you have converted from a builder to neutral foods, but it's now got water in it. So by doing it that way, you pump water into it naturally, organically, as opposed to boiling it, steaming it, like the rice and these other things. Even the fonio, even the amaranth, the teff, you can actually sprout these things. So you're just having them as cereal grass as opposed to be cereal. So you want to do, say, wheat. You want to do wheat, and you take wheat and make, say, a cereal. You know, Captain Crunch, whatever, something. It's not going to digest. But if you take that wheat, you soak it, you germinate it, you sprout it. You can even take that sprouted wheat, put it in the blender, blend it with some coconut water, add some little herbs and spices onto it, make it into like a pancake batter. Here in Ghana, you could just pour it on a piece of glass and put it out in the sun for 8 to 12 hours, and it's going to be a cracker, a biscuit. Your body can digest that.
Wow.
But if you take the flour and just turn it, you take the wheat and turn it into a flour and you make a bread, the body can't break that down. So when they said that, you know, Jesus lived amongst the Essene, and they made Essene bread, they sprouted the wheat, and they grind it, and they dried it in the sun. They didn't bake it. Jesus was, well, first of all, he was an African. And you see pictures even coming out of Europe, out of Russia, with all the biblical features. And you see it in Ethiopia. You didn't have to go to Russia. You could see it. All the biblical features, everything. So that manna from heaven, the Essene, it was sprouted bread. And they baked it in the sun. They didn't have stoves and ovens and all of this stuff. How did they damn make Essene bread? And they had no oven. They baked it in the sun. Sunfired foods. So the sun is our chef. The sun is the only chef on this entire planet. It cooks for everybody. It comes to my neighborhood today, and it makes sure my banana gets 12 hours of cooking every day. It makes sure my oranges get 12 hours of cooking every day. My lettuce, my coconut, my pineapple, my watermelon. And when they're ripe, ready, when the lettuce is ready, it is fully cooked by the sun. It's not no damn raw food. It's cooked by God. The sun. And it comes to the ghetto, it comes to the suburb, it comes downtown, it comes to the village, it comes to anywhere in the world, and it cooks for everybody. So we're supposed to be eating the sun. This is a sun drop. This is a sun drop. This is how we eat the sun out of the food. We want to do an efficient transfer of solar energy from the food to our body. And we're living examples of sunshine. This is what we do. Sunshine, oxygen, and living water. 3 essential food in this life. Without sunshine, you die. You're dead. Without oxygen, you're dead. Without living water, you're dead. But they're trying to give you just plain, blank, empty, nothing water. And they tell you drink 8 glasses of that a day, you're going to dilute your body. You're going to dilute your life drinking all that water. That empty, blank, nothing. But this is going to help you grow. This is life. This is all life. The living food for living people. You cook the food, you kill it, the food is going to kill you back. That dead chicken has got you suffering right now. All that chicken that you ate, all that goat, all that pork, is payback. You reap as you sow. But you are sick, you got cancer, you got arthritis, you got all this stuff. The chicken died instantly, but you're going to take 50, 60 years of sufferation. Payback. Payback. And if you don't feel it, you deserve to get out of here. Leave the planet. If you're going to act ignorant, but still, we know you've been miseducated, and we're here to bring the education back. We're here to bring the education back. We're here to wake you up. So how do we deal with this addiction? We come to seminars here at this rescue center. You know, people like myself coming in. You know, if Dr. Goss was with us now, he would be right here saying the same thing. Dr. Laila Africa, Dick Gregory.
And coming to that, you know, we you know, I tell, you know, when people are calling about you in the classes and things like that, I was like, even if you're going to get all the food and all the different things that you can do to make whatever, but one of the things that you don't get a lot is there's a lot of history. You carry a lot of history. You've been in this movement for a long time, and you have so many colleagues that you have been with throughout all of this time. And I wanted you, and I grew up as a child in this movement, so even my upbringing is so different. Even though I grew up in Compton in the hood, it's so different. I was so different from my other colleagues, and it wasn't until kind of recent I met Ayanna Gregory, Dick Gregory's daughter.
Gregory's daughter. Oh,
so we met 2019. We became fast friends, and now we're like close sisters. And so when she came here last year, I asked her to come stay with me. She came with some group. I said, please come stay with me. And so we can, you know, just kind of vibe. And so we're sitting, or I made some coconut porridge, and we're just talking about our upbringing. You know what I'm saying? How it was to grow up in a vegetarian household with parents who were activists, and her father was even more popular than anybody, right? So just dealing with that whole thing. And it was 10 of them, you know.
Oh, yes.
And so, and she's one of the youngest. I think she's of the younger 3 or something like that.
Correct.
So we were just talking about our upbringing. We were talking about the food. Like one of the, what was funny, she told me about, you know, like you want to do everything that the other children do, right? So she's at school and everybody's getting these gumball machines, right? With all the gumballs, is sweet sugar and all that stuff inside. And so she called her mom. She was like, Mom, you know, everybody's getting these gumballs, and please, just this one time, can I bring it home? And didn't know that her father was, so he went on the other line. You know, this is when everything was still with a cord. Yeah. So he went in another room, picked up the phone. He said, don't bring it home. Oh my God, I fell on the floor because I was like, that's exactly what my father would have been doing. Or he would have been standing there as we walking out of the store, like, okay, what do you got in that bag? You know what I'm saying? So it was so, and other people couldn't understand that. You know, we talked about some of our siblings. I have a brother named Gregory. She has a brother named Gregory. They have the same exact personality. They like the same things. They it was like the same problems, same issues. And it was like, so for us to, you know, sit and talk about the movement as children, and we're looking at where it is now, and like you said, it should be better, right? With all this work we've been doing, it should be better, but it's one of those things where we said, okay, you know what, maybe the movement just needs a little facelift. You know what I'm saying? How do we get to the youth? You know, we know the social media, and we see that social media has influenced a lot of people to at least look at healthier choices. At least it's there. People are talking about it. So many people online are talking about becoming vegetarian and going raw and doing juice fasts and cleansing and things like that. So at least they're more exposed to it. So there's so many people, you know, that has been in this movement. And what I wanted to do was just name a few. And I want you to give me one word or one phrase, but the only one I don't want you to do that for is Alvenia Fulton. I want you to talk about Dr. Alvenia Fulton, because a lot of people don't know about her, and she's a teacher among teachers. And she was known as Dick Gregory's first teacher, and he even talks about her in his documentary that's on Netflix. So, and you can go online and you can look it up. You'll find a little stuff, because this is, you know, this is back in the day. So tell us a little bit. Expound a little. You can give us a word to describe her, but I want you to talk about her a little bit more. We need to make her see.
Well, the word is Queen Mother.
Queen Mother. Okay.
Yeah, she's the Queen Mother of African healing. You know, she started off somewhere in the 50s in south side of Chicago, you know, the Fultonia Institute, just like this.
Okay.
On a street corner in Chicago, street block in Chicago, just like this, or a little herb shop, natural food, that little cook shop back there, the whole thing. But people will come into her to seek advice and information.
She was in Chicago?
Chicago, the
okay.
Fultonia Institute.
Fultonia.
You know, Dr. Alvina Fulton. And she pretty much, you know, Dick Gregory put her on the map, on the radar, you know. And she literally just sat him down and took off 202 pounds. He was a 300-pound whale.
Wow.
Yeah, 300 pounds. Stand-up comedian, and he, you know, you read his book. Well, see, interesting with well, I don't want to segue into Dick Gregory, but they're like this together. You can't talk about one without the other, you know. When I first went to class, they give us a book to read, because I'm in the hood, you know. They gave us a book to read, required reading, Up From Nigger. Dick Gregory's book.
Wow.
How he became a stand-up comedian back then, and this is what I'm reading in 1964.
In school?
1964, 65, 66, 67, Up From Nigger. And this is before he became healthy. You know, how it's like, you know, he grew up in the South with his family. They had this big family, and they were poor and nothing to eat, and you know, it's like you have to guard your plate. You just get your plate. You gotta make sure nobody come and take a piece of your ham hocks or whatever off your plate. You know, so he becomes a stand-up comedian and start touring the U.S. You know, talking about his comedy and making jokes, and started making money. So now he's up from the nigger because he can now eat high on the hog. Rather than the shit links, you know, and the other stuff, the ham hocks and all of this stuff, you know, he's eating the pork chop and eating high on the hog because he got money. He could eat out at restaurants and these things, and that's how he blows up to this big 300-pound whale. And it's interesting looking because there was another stand-up comedian parallel to Dick Gregory at the same time, Godfrey Cambridge. They were both 300 pounds. Stand-up comedian. These were like, you know, the Richard Pryor, you know, of the time, the you know, like a famous comedian. These were the people up there. And Dr. Alvina Fulton gets a hold of Dick Gregory, brought him down from 300 pounds to 98 pounds. Fruitarianism, juices, he only ate fruits. Brought him down, knocked all of that weight off. Godfrey Cambridge went on, made his money, and interestingly enough, the film about Idi Amin, well, not about Idi Amin, was the Israelis' film on raid on Entebbe, when they raided Entebbe and they got Idi Amin. So Godfrey Cambridge was playing the role of Idi Amin in that film, Raid on Entebbe. And he died on the spot of a massive heart attack. 300 pounds, died on the spot. And you know, that film, you know, the history of that. And I was in Tanzania, living in Arusha, you know, in Mwanza, right by the lake, across from, you know, where the raid took place during that time, 1978.
Oh, wow. You were there then? Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was living there, you know, a whole bunch of African Americans. We had moved to Tanzania because of the cooperative economics, Ujamaa. We went to a Ujamaa village, adopted a village, and brought our resources to that village. And the war breaks out. And so, you know, and it was based, you know, eventually this raid on Entebbe, you know, kind of like sealed up the whole thing. But the bottom line is to see the difference between Dick Gregory and Godfrey Cambridge, and he's running down fame, you know, and not minding his life, minding his body, and he dies on the spot. And Dick Gregory went on to be this big health activist, you know, and even something, I mean, one thing that really kind of really pains me today to see what they did with that damn movie, what they call that damn thing, the recent one,
What is it
then they
about?
took all over the world. This black movie. I don't even remember the name of these things.
When they took over the world.
Wakanda.
What kind? Oh, okay. Yeah. Black Panther. Black Panther. You talking
Yeah,
about
but
Black Panther?
look at this. Yeah, Black Panther.
The movie.
Definitely trying to rewrite the script of what a Black Panther was. The Black Panther was a party in Oakland, originally Oakland, that went to shoot the police, Mr. Wakanda, you know, whatever, and then he goes and dies of cancer. Our big hero, another hero, they blow up like that, and have the whole African world, premiered everywhere in the old African world, Wakanda, and we all out there, and then our hero dies, and dies of cancer. Of all the things in the world, you busy running down fame, and you got cancer? And you out there doing all of that, and you got cancer, and you ain't trying to mind your life? So wake up, family. Wake up. You don't have to be sick, and you should never have to die from cancer or anything else. Forget fame, money, and all of this glory, and forget trying to tell our story, some other people's way. So we need to come on home. Forget the Wakanda, all that fake lie. It's all lies. It's all fiction. It's all garbage. And we bought into it. But you're in Ghana. And I know some of you probably went too, you know. But that's fine. We're not going to hold it against you because, you know, it's a war out here. And you are caught up on the front line and being a victim and don't know that you're being used. So let's come on back home, defend and protect our life. And we have these role models. Dr. Alvina Fulton definitely started this revolution.
Yeah.
She started this health revolution for us, and right now, the revolution is being televised.
Yes.
Gil Scott, we're televising the revolution.
That's right.
And it's about health. And if you're here today in the 21st century, 2025, and you're not about health, you are not going to make it. And somebody said, if you're dumb enough to take my vaccine, we don't want you in the next civilization.
We're having a LOVersATION. This is coming straight from love. Sometimes the love can be tough and it can kind of hit us, but that's when it sticks to us. You know what I'm saying? That's when it's going to be in that brain, you know, for 2-3 weeks, and that, like that mosquito in your ear reminding you over and over, Dr. Aris, what did he say? What did he say? Come home to self, come home to self, you know, so we're really grateful.
So talking about our great healers.
Yeah, so
let me just drop one thing in here.
Go ahead.
The greatest thing that has happened to us with healing, the greatest thing that has happened in our community, in 1990, we had an African Healers Summit in the U.S.
Yes.
100 healers showed up. Even Dr. Ando was that African.
From Ghana.
From Ghana. Yes. 100 African healers showed up, and 200 participants like you yourselves came to study. Queen Afua, Dr. Goss. I think Dr. Goss was there.
Yeah, he was there. I remember him talking.
Everybody was there. Dr. Jewel Pulcrum, everybody was there. So I want to really thank Dr. Sharita for having this online right now. There's an online healers network. Healers healing the healers right here in Ghana. Yeah. So but it never happened again. That one time it happened. And we need to bring it back. We need to bring it front and center, and we need to call all the healers, you know, to Ghana or somewhere in Africa, and let's get this universal African healers network back on track. Because we got to talk to each other, with each other, and feature each other, because we got a whole family out here looking for us. And it's hard to find a good African healers these days in certain community, you know, and the ones that are out here, they're overwhelmed.
Yes,
they're overworked.
Oh my gosh.
You know, but we need to pull it together, and this African healers gathering we have in the next couple of days.
Yes, yes.
Please, you know.
It's, you know, when we talk often, and you always bring that one up about the healer. It's such a highlight
Big,
in your
huge.
life.
It
And
was
that's
huge.
what we're hoping to come out of this thing, you know, when we come together. And it's not going to be the first one. We're not going to let it be the last one.
That's right.
We're not going to
That's
let it be
right.
the last one. And everybody that's on the platform, they're from Ghana, UK,
Great.
the US, all throughout the US.
Yeah. I'm on it. I've been
Panama,
watching it.
Panama.
Yeah, I've been watching it. Yeah.
Jamaica, Rwanda, other African countries. You know, so people and people are inviting more of them to come on. So the whole thing is, if you just got to be a healer. And
Right.
I know you don't call yourself a healer, but so we are the healer. The person is the healer. You are the healer.
Each and
We're
every one of us.
facilitators.
Each
We're
and every one of
facilitators.
us.
Yes.
We need to be our own damn doctor.
Yes.
And I saw somewhere in there you mentioned something about the impact of spirituality in this, based on the questions that you had
Yes.
sent me.
Yes. Yes.
That's
yes.
important.
Yeah, spirituality.
That's
Yeah,
important.
because that's the holistic part. Because we didn't think about just eating and the exercise, the physical side, but the mental side, we definitely need strength there, and then the spiritual
Spiritual side.
For me, I find like when I eat raw, I'm vegan, but I don't.
Woo.
My goal is to at least be 70% raw. But when I go straight raw, after about 3-4 days, you're talking about spirit. You're talking about
Please.
God talking to you like we're
Please.
talking right now.
Please.
You're talking about the obvious
Please.
answers. It's just.
Please.
It's just basically you're cleaning up the temple that the Most High made for you, so the Most High can reside. Just imagine you invite somebody to your house and it's dirty and messy. They don't feel comfortable. But you come into somebody's house, it's nice and clean. You know, even going into the bathroom, it's nice and clean. You feel comfortable, and you know what I'm saying. You can relate better. You can conversate better. The atmosphere is peaceful, and you don't have as many conflicts. You know what I'm saying? So even if you're having conflict with somebody, you start cleansing. Either that person's going to join, or they're going to just move out of your space. It's just amazing, the spiritual connection.
Well,
and I just want you to share yours.
It's so amazing that, first of all, we need to acknowledge ourselves as individuals.
Yeah.
We are spirit being. And this is what we leave out of the equation all the time. Grandma would say, you're a chip off of the good old block. So we have, all of us have that God connection in us. We're all gods, our own God. We need to step up and God ourselves. We need to step up, and we need to move forward from a spirit entity, not from this little animal flesh that we're living in right now. So for us to be able to live this spirit life, this higher self, then we need to tone down our relationship with this animal. We need to put this animal in check. You know, so it's I talking to you. Whatever mama named you, I'm going to make sure you don't come in and drag me around like I'm a dog on a leash. And this is what's going on with a lot of us. Our body is dragging us around as spirit beings. Yeah. We need to step up, and we need to take ownership and guide this body and guide this mind. Mind, body, and soul. It's the soul. And you see how some of them, they put the soul as, you know, what is it? The Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost.
Where's the woman?
It's that female energy in every single one of us, that even the men who has taken over rulership don't acknowledge that female energy, that nurturing, loving energy inside of us. And we don't even apply it to self. So we need to come back home, and we need to really now harness the mind. Our biggest challenge as spirit being is that the mind has taken over. And this thinking has really destroyed us, because we've been programmed to think most of what we know. And this is one of our biggest challenges right now. And in this age of know-all, a lot of us are really drowning in the little BS that we've been taught. So we need to unleash, or get the leash off, and be careful with our thoughts, our thinking, because you can only think what you know. And how did what you know got into you today? Based on all of this miseducation we have been going through, based on all this big, broader, dominant media culture that's out there that's teaching you what to think, how to think, analyze. They're not even giving you news anymore. They're just giving you analysis of the news. And we see what's going on right now. There's a whole group of people in the world that's being slaughtered. And it's like, media is telling you what to think, how to feel about it, and all of this stuff. And we've been being slaughtered. We know what being slaughtered is all about. So we need to come back, and each one of us, individual souls, individual spirit, we need to step up and deal with this little beast that we live in, and deal with this little thing up here, and just empty all that programming and bring it back to factory setting. Bring the body and the mind back to factory setting. And we can only do that if we step up as spirit being and God our damn self.
Yes.
Because we thinking God is out there and God don't see me, so I'll just repent. But you're watching over you every day, every night, every moment, every second. You know when you tell a damn lie. You know when you cheat. You know when you out of order. And it's have to be you who's going to stand up and correct thyself. And you can only do it from a higher ground. And you cannot access that higher ground if you're down here eating like a pig. You got to break away from this flesh, from this beast. And you got to stop feeding it. And you got to be careful with the mind. You got to get into a position where you can like, look, that mind is taking you into somewhere and you know you're thinking negative and you're going through a whole bunch of stuff. You need to be able to turn a damn switch. Like how you could pull the emergency brakes in a bus, in a plane, in a train or whatever. You need to turn your mind off when you get into this negative thinking, this low-level vibration. But a lot of that is being based on what you've been eating. You are what you eat. You are what you eat. So be careful about what you're eating. You know, all this.
You eat a lie, you become a lie.
Look, I remember when I first came to Ghana. I remember the damn roosters at 4 o'clock in the morning waking me up. I don't hear none now. Where's the damn wild fowl? What are we making our chicken jollof rice with? Where are these little something that they come and these fake birds? These things, that's why in the US they told one company, you cannot use chicken in your name anymore. So they just reduced themselves to initials, KFC, because there ain't no more chicken in there.
Now in
and
Ghana.
now they're over here. So you got to take ownership, you got to take control, and what you eat, you need to know every damn thing that you're eating, because you're being programmed now through the food. And your mind, your thoughts, and everything. What you ate yesterday actually walks and talks today. So we need to cut out the BS and get clean, get straight, get clear. But number one, you need to guard your damn self. You are with the little animal every day. You know when you're BSing. You know when you ain't doing right. So you don't have to wait till the day you repent. But, you know, save the ancestors. Save God. They got too much responsibility. Yes. You take on some of the responsibility now.
For yourself. Yes.
You got hands and feet and mouth and ears and eyes, and you need to take ownership. You need to take charge. Ain't no man made me eat that. You're eating it yourself. You're putting it in your mouth. And now I know you're sick and tired of being sick.
Yes.
So welcome home.
Welcome home.
Build that new body. Order it and build it. New body. And that's why we're sitting here in the home of Dr. Goss's new body here in Africa.
CKLS.
My sister.
CKLS. So we're one of the sponsors for Dr. Aris here. New Body Products has been around since 1976. Started and formulated by the late great Dr. Paul Goss, which is my father. And this is mainly how I know Dr. Aris. We have a brother named Sunshine from out of Houston. May he rest in power. He was the one who introduced them to us. He can tell the story more about it, but ever since he brought Doc into our space, it got to the point where they were together so much they started to look alike. And sometimes I would have to stop and be like, okay, no, this is Sunshine, this is Doc. Even today, they still, if you see a picture of a Sunshine, you see the face. So he was always the one to teach us. So even though we did learn from Dr. Aris, Sunshine was the one to continue us learning, and we were eating his food on a regular basis. He always did all the different seminars and things and stuff that we would have, or that I would go to. And, you know, and he kind of ended up creating, just like a lot of chefs, end up kind of creating their own style, you know. So Doc, I wanted to, for us to still go, because it's very important that people know about the people that you move with. Everybody knows about Dr. Sebi after he passed away. People knew, if you're in the movement, you knew about Dr. Sebi. But a lot of people knew about him afterwards. And so all you hear is him almost like a household word, but you know where he came from. He wasn't by himself. He was moving with a lot of people. As a matter of fact, you brought him to New York?
I brought him to Harlem in 1980. One of his first major U.S. appearances. We hosted Dr. Sebi at Columbia University. We took him to the highest house in Harlem, and we introduced him to the community, and he brought the whole thing, and he's definitely revolutionized. You know.
So give me a word. Give me a word for Dr. Sebi, or a phrase.
For Dr. Sebi, I would say, you know, the electric man.
Yeah, a lot of energy.
Electric boogie. The electric boogie. You see that man, you see his energy, you see his strength, you see his stamina, his vibration. You see him slim and trim. Slim and trim. And he moved around the world.
Yes.
He moved around the world, and he came to so many places and brought, you know, the information. He came with herbs and he left with food. You know, he left us a good food legacy when he started talking about electric food. This is serious. And when you talk about electric food, you are talking about the water. This is the electric current. It's the water in the food. So let's hydrate more. This is one thing that Dr. Sebi, he even used water in his physical environment. He had a hot spring right on his property in his healing center. So water is a big key to our life. We're not drinking enough, but we're not drinking enough of the electric water.
Yes.
That other water is blank, there's no electrical charge in it. This here, the coconut, the young water coconut, when it's young and there's no jelly, no meat, no flesh or anything in it, it is 100% electrical. It's got more electrolytes in it than any other food on the planet. So we're talking electrical charge. So this alone can keep you alive forever. Coconut water. But it's all the other stuff that we're putting into our system that's creating a challenge. But when you look at how this water came about, number one, you know, water when it comes out of the sky, it's empty in terms of minerals, vitamins, nothing. It's just pure 100% rain water. There's nothing in it. When it falls into the earth, it starts now picking up elements. Wherever water travels, it picks up elements. So as the water penetrates the earth, the more harder the minerals, the sediment that is going to be picking up. So be careful. Many of us here in Ghana, we're using wells. That water from the well is very hard. Use it to take a shower with, use it to do certain things, but don't drink that water. It's going to leave a lot of sediments in your body. But the coconut tree took that same water as it is above, so it is below. You see a coconut tree 100 feet up into the sky, its roots are 100 feet down into the earth. And it's pulling out water out of the earth. A watermelon. This here This is a bottle of water. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm speaking the damn Queen's English. And if they say this is water, you're going to tell the Queen this is not water? And in their language, they call it a watermelon. It's melon-flavored water. You love your Queen, right? Respect her. Don't tell me that I don't drink water. I drink water. I drink watermelon. This is 99% water. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to drink this water, you eat it. 99% water. The watermelon vine, where this was connected to, the vine, okay, it rooted itself down. You see a watermelon vine, it might run like, 100 yards down into the earth. The root of that vine is 100 yards down into the earth. And the root of the watermelon vine taps into an underground spring. And it puts spring water in this bottle right here. This is a bottle of spring water. This is a bottle of spring water. So the watermelon vine is a water hose that connects to a spring in the earth, pumps water through the sun. The sun is pumping the water. God. Ra. The sun is the most God-like tangible energy on this planet. Every day the sun comes to our area. We don't need a damn water pump. The sun is pumping it into this water hose and making bottled water, hermetically sealed, the whole thing, biodegradable, and now we're messing with this mess. We're messing with this. I feel very shameful to be drinking from that. Normally, in my place, I open my coconut and drink it right there on the spot. This is a water bottle. This is bottled water. This is bottled water, packaged at the source, environmentally friendly. A coconut tree. You see that damn coconut tree? 100 feet, 100 yards. Up into the sky. This is the coconut tree, it's a masculine energy. You see, it's like a phallic, an obelisk. And you see how high it goes. You know what these are? These are breasts. These are breasts of the earth. This is a masculine energy having 300 breasts to feed his children. But he's not doing it alone. The mother-father relationship. Mother Earth got him anchored down in her bosom so he doesn't fly off this planet. And Father God, the Son, got them holding together. So what you're getting from this is an electrical charge, an electrical current. So the sun and the gravitational pull of the earth, keeping it balanced, keeping that tree from falling down, and the water is being pulled out of the earth by the sun and packaging it like this, and these are breasts of the earth. And we produce enough coconut water here in Ghana. We can produce enough coconut water before the damn conquerors came and ripped us off. Cape Coast was nothing but water, coconut trees, the whole coastline of the entire continent with nothing but coconut trees. So we can bottle enough, we have enough coconut water that none of us should be drinking water from the earth anymore. So what I'm doing is a revolution, it's a protest against us taking this water out of the earth, the way we're taking it and running it through machine. Water spoils at 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Water that's not running, stagnant, it spoils. How does it spoil? You know when it's spoiled, when it stink. Stagnant water gets stink. And these bottled water, these waters that are bottled in these bottles that they're selling you, that they took out of the earth, how come that water don't get stink and spoil? Stagnant water sitting in a bottle. They're all treated. They're all treated. So let's come on home.
Yes.
Let's reconnect.
So we definitely want the names because we want people to go and look them up to understand all these healers that had came before us the reason why I'm a healer, the reason why a few of my children are healers, and the new healers that are out here, they follow pretty much these different ones. So I'm going to go now with the late, great Dr. Paul Goss, which is my father. That whole Dear You transition just 3 years ago.
Yes,
It's still fresh, still kind of fresh, but he's the maker of the famous CKLS, the colon, kidney, liver, and spleen. So Dr. Goss.
Oh, man. I know Dr. Goss as Mr. Eyes, iridology. That's part of Dr. Goss that many of you don't know. This man can look in your eyes and tell you what you got and what you need to correct what you got. If you got some disorder, and his book, I mean, I haven't seen that book in years. I'm going to buy one of these books.
Oh, we're going to give it to you. You're not buying
Iridology. This is the African father of iridology, that someone can look into your eyes and tell you you got a problem with your liver, with your kidneys. Everything is imprinted there in your eyes, the nerve endings in your eyes. Same thing with reflexology. But this man here, he's got it. He's got our vision. He got us covered. You've seen where we've been coming, where we've been heading. And now that we're here, you know, it's important to really, you know, embrace his work, the legacy that he has left. Dr. Sharita, you know, as a custodian to make sure. So we have to keep these herbs around. We have to keep these herbs around. It is very important. The herbs break down the blockage. They open up the channels so that the blood can get through, so that these can get through, the coconut water, the watermelon can get through. But, you know, it's a crisis. And we don't have time to do, you know, a 3-year, you know, clean me out program. We need to take the herbs and break down the barriers as soon as possible, because we need blood, we need oxygen, and we need that sunshine, you know. So we need to open up the channels. So Mr. Eyes, he saw it. You know, thank you, Dr. Goss.
Yes, thank you, Baba. Yes, so Dr. Laila Africa.
Dr. Laila Africa. Wow.
He's alive.
Yeah, Dr. Laila Africa is with us right now. Yes, you know,
Thank you, Ancestors.
he's with us, his books, his teachings. When I look at Dr. Africa, you know, people would use the word nerd.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a bookworm.
Definitely.
I mean, this man is living knowledge, and his knowledge today keeps on. This man knows it all scientifically in every single word. So I would call, you know, genius. Not a nerd.
Yeah, it's genius.
That's the word.
Yeah.
This is a genius. And from what I understand, when he left us, he told his wife, who was keeping his work alive, because she's a naturopath just like him. And he told her, I've lived, what is it, how many years? When did he pass away? He was like 70 or so?
74.
74.
Yeah.
He said, basically, I'm going home now. I've lived 74 black years. Yeah, because this man, anywhere he talks, he makes sure he acknowledges where he gets this information from. And he always acknowledges, you know, and bring it forward that no mistaking. What he's dealing with is definitely, you know, an African contribution to civilization. You know, this is our contribution to civilization. And there was never any mistaking. And that's why his book, you know, African Holistic Medicine, is strictly made for, you know, melanated. It takes the melanin factor into consideration all the time through his work. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Genius.
Yes. Okay. You mentioned Dr. Kwaku Ando, but it was just in passing. Dr. Kwaku Ando from Ghana.
Yes. Whew. I would say
There's so much powerhouses. These
my
people.
brother.
Yeah.
You know, we met in Atlanta when he had moved to Atlanta. We met, but our paths had crossed in Berkeley, where he started the North Scale Institute. This is a brother who came from Africa, came from Ghana, you know, and brought, you know, African herbal folklore.
Moringa. He brought moringa to America.
That's right.
Yes.
To the world, literally.
Yes. To the world.
To the world. Absolutely. You know, so to be sitting here, you know, in his birthplace and knowing, you know, the impact, you know, that he has shared with most of us, you know, is tremendous,
Yes.
you know. So I really appreciate all of his work, all of his love.
Yeah.
For him to come to us and bring it to us.
Yeah.
That was quite a gift from Africa for
Doctor,
us.
I think I agree with the brother. Family. He always treats you like family. He always treated me like a daughter.
That's
Any
right.
woman came around, young woman, he treated you like a daughter or a young son.
right.
And he was very unique. I remember one friend went to go see him, and he was having some sinus issues. And so this is in Atlanta, and he said Dr. Endo coming to him, he just started smelling around his neck and around his face or whatever. He was like, there's something going on with your sinuses. And the guy's like, I didn't even tell you what my problem was. I just needed, you know, I just was referred to you, you know. But he, you know, and he talked to plants. He was an ethnobotanist.
Ethnobotanist, that's right.
So if you ever got a chance to learn with him, you would watch him talk to plants, and you would see the plants respond to him.
That's right.
It was like, and then we found out that was an African thing. So when I came here and dealt with other African healers and herbalists, that's how they dealt with it. They knew when to pick it, what time of the year, where it grew the best.
That's right.
I remember Dr. Endo he said he'll come up to the plant and say, okay, which one of you guys am I taking home today? And then he said, the little one just starts growing up like Mimi. He said, no, not you today. You're still too young. You still need to, you will come. I mean, like they're children. And he said he likes plants better than humans.
Yes,
they were his friends, you know what I'm saying? And he patterned after his mentor or person that he loved the most was George Washington Carver.
Wow.
George Washington Carver is how he is even where that came from, because George Washington Carver would sit in the woods for hours of the day and look at the plant and says, reveal yourself to me, over and over and over. And look at George. If you don't know George Washington Carver, look him up. The kind of things that came from him. I mean, he made 300 paints out of dirt. How?
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? If you go to the museum out in Alabama, you'll see a lot of these different things. So this was his, you know, mentor, you know, and he even he even had a hall that was dedicated to George Washington Carver. So yeah, look these people up. Okay, we already talked about Dr. Sabi. So these people that we had talked about, they're all ancestors, but we have one, oh no, wait, we got to talk about your brother. Quantumani, yes.
Kofi Quatamani.
Yeah,
he lived there in Ghana, you know, back in the 70s when we met in California. I was an administrator in the public school, bilingual curriculum writer, teaching teachers how to teach languages. And he was the affirmative action officer. Making sure black folks get employed in the school system. And we met at a health food store. And we're like, oh, what you doing in here? Because, you know, you don't see black folks in the health food store in those kind of places, you know. So anyway, we adopted each other on site, you know, and we both started eating all raw together. Yeah, right then and there, 78 years. And for me, I was struggling with it for 2 years. But meeting Kofi, he was, the difference with him that made the difference for me is that he did not smoke ganja. So I realized being amongst him for like 3 months is that all of a sudden now I was battling with eating raw for 2 years. But I noticed something happens and I run to a Mexican restaurant and get some cooked food, some beans and tortillas and this stuff. But it's because the ganja was giving me the munchies and raw food just wasn't cutting it. So meeting him, and we made the journey together because now I wasn't smoking ganja anymore, But anyway, right now, he's in Belize. He moved from the Belize, and he was an activist in the 60s. He was Angela Davis's, poetry partner.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Angela Davis. Wow. She's like really was big black revolutionary in the 60s. And before we finish, I want to drop in something about a poet that was actually a major influencer in my journey with this as well. Because there are some unseen healers that we never going to hear about. They're in the background. So Kofi today, Kwatamani, he's got over 1,000 acres in the jungles of Belize, right where the Olmecs, the Olmecs, that African civilization in Mexico that built these big pyramids there. And you see them, the big Ghanaian, round features, everything, So he's living there and he's got his own family development there. He's got 5 wives and 30 children. And he's got about 300 people now living in the community. But they grow everything they eat.
Wow.
Everything. And 1,000 acres, coconut, spinach, everything. So you just type in Kofi Kwatamani online and you're going to see a lot of videos on YouTube. A lot of videos, but it's self-sustainable. It's the longest living African holistic, family on the planet that's been 48 years now, half a century, eating all raw food, and the entire family, everybody, they don't eat no cooked food either. All the children, everybody that's on there. I think yesterday something popped up in one of my feeds talking about the Hebrew Israelite in Israel, that, this big vegan community, in the Middle East. But whoever put it up and that was narrating it, he didn't give anything about who they are, where they are, what they just say in the Middle East. But you see these images of our brothers and sisters, Hebrew Israelite that are there, that are really, living the life, But it's the same thing with Brother Kofi Kwatamani. He lived in Sierra Leone. He had to leave during the Diamond War, and his children, his family, they're like a living example of what can happen, close to 50 years of eating like this, serious, perfect lab for you to study.
Wow,
Yeah.
Good, great. Okay, so last but not least, our living legend, Queen Afua, who is going to be here in Ghana in March.
Queen Afua. I guess the word for me in Queen Afua is massage. Massage.
Okay.
It was 1980 when I had a royal feast. See, wherever I am, we have these royal feasts on the big eat-up holidays. So I think it was probably like a Easter 1980. I had a royal feast for Easter Sunday because I know there are many people in our community that want a family that they can sit down and eat together with on these days, because if they go home to their traditional family, it's going to be like, oh, there's nothing on the table for them to eat. So they would come to us, So this one Sunday, this royal feast day, Queen Afua just shows up at the door and said, Baba, can I come in for the feast? I am studying to be a masseuse. I want to barter and give you a massage for the feast. This is Queen Afua.
Wow, okay.
Before, she introduced herself to the world. And this was the first day that I met her. You know, she was just getting into this. She was just getting into healing. So when I was very famous in the U.S. in the big wellness circle, the holistic community all over the U.S. in the 80s, we had there was a black health panel at all of the major health expos. And Dick Gregory, Dr. Alvina Fulton, Amos Wilson, and then they brought me in to be on the panel, and I brought Queen Afua in when she blew up. It's like a year later, after she offered me this massage, she blows up, Queen Afua. And she was like, it was so timely. We really needed a sister, out here on the circuit doing this. Because before that, it was mostly all brothers and stuff like that.
Still is, mostly.
Yeah, but a sister, and now she's a legacy now. She's still here, and, thanks to her, I've been able to get into places that, normally I just won't fit in as a brother, So she used to bring her groups to me, in Brooklyn, or bring me to their women's circle, healing circle, to get the food piece. So right now, this is where I'm at in my journey, is pretty much wrapping up my era of teaching. And we have a couple of sisters right now that are my understudies. So we're going to unleash a couple of Sunfired, queen daughters that are going to be taking this mantle and bringing it back home to the community for us. Because, our sisters are, the true, original, natural healers of this planet. And, thanks to Queen Mother, Alvina Fulton, thanks to Dr. Sharita Yazid, our young sisters, like the one that introduced me, we're passing the mantle. We definitely got to, do it now and not wait, till we leave and hope that the right people step up. We want them to step up now.
Yes.
And get it direct from us so that they don't go through the whole big learning curve that we had to go through to be able to sit here with you today.
Yes. Thank you so much, Doc. Thank you so much, Doc. Now, I know people got questions, and y'all been waiting to ask, so this is a time that we're going to open up the floor for you to ask your questions. I know we covered a lot, so I know we probably answered some questions. But yeah. There you go.
Thank you so much. I really feel privileged. So I am Gis, coming from Guadeloupe, French West Indies.
Welcome.
I want to understand, how do you get the best? I want to understand, how do you get the best out of coconut water? To say, when you are not living by the coconut tree, like you are in town or whatever, how do you deal with water in a bottle? Because in my country, they will say be very careful with coconut water because it can poison you if it is old.
If it's what?
If it is old, if you don't keep it fresh.
If it's hot, okay.
Okay. To say how long can you keep coconut water? To say. Can you keep it for tomorrow, the same bottle or whatever, in your bag?
Or even if it's in a glass, even if you put it in a glass, how long it would? Because we already know the plastic.
Well, coconut water, it's the breast of the earth. The coconut is the breast of the earth. So when you open that coconut, initially you see how the water just spouts out in your face. It's the same like mother's milk. It's hermetically sealed. And once it gets in contact with oxygen, it has a very short lifespan. So we really want to drink it direct from the source, But the reality today, because we're in, like right now, in a place like Accra, this, convenience,
it's fast,
basically, and accessibility. So we just use this as basically last resort. But still, if the coconut water is left out for one day at room temperature and not refrigerated, and you see it becomes a little fizzy, so it's now cultured. And in some places they will call it kefir, or what you call this thing, kombucha. You know, we eating, drinking kombucha, we drinking a whole bunch of cultured stuff, but when it comes to the fresh stuff like this, so at this point it is pre-digested, and the body just absorbs it like this, like instant energy from it. Now, you know, with me today sitting here and 48 years of only eating all raw foods, you know, there is a community of Africans on this planet that have been having all raw even longer than me. There are Rastafarians in the mountains of Jamaica that are now 55, 60 years of eating all 100% raw food.
Wow.
And these brothers and sisters, they would not eat this mango like this. They wait till it becomes what we might call spoiling.
Or fermented, yeah.
Fermenting. It's cultured. Now, the body don't have to do any kind of processing when the food is like that. It is now ready to be used as energy. So it's the same thing with the coconut water, you know, and that's why they would do certain things, the European culture, when they make the milk, and or when they're making cheese. When you're making cheese and you take that milk and you hang it up and let it drip overnight, and what comes out, they call it whey, and that culture. So now the milk and the cheese is even further pre-digested, that it has no digestive action. And that's when even in the 60s, when they used to have what was called rennetless cheese or raw cheese, raw milk, but now the governments all over the world has outlawed it, you know. But those kind of things, you can get away with it because you're not going to have the intolerance to the lactose, you know, in it. So the cultured coconut water is just actually good for us still. So we don't really have to throw it away. It's like palm wine.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Like a wine, yeah.
Thank you, sir. My name is Edgar.
Yes.
All right. I want to find out something. So how were you able to navigate during traveling in the 70s?
How do I navigate traveling?
In the 70s. You say you started veganism, vegetarianism in the 70s.
Okay.
Yeah, so how were you able to travel and then, you know, eat the way you did and all that?
You mean like when he's traveling on a plane and
Yeah.
the
Good
plane
question.
food and hotels and all? Okay.
Good
yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Well,
Good question.
you know, one thing, I'm a little bit of an exception, because since I started this in 1979 teaching, this is all I've been doing for the past 45 years. You know, now 46 years is just teaching. So everywhere I'm going to do this. So normally I don't have to worry about my food when I get here. Dr. Sharita has it. And then also, because I've traveled so extensively around the world and I've lived in many places, I pretty much have a built-in instinct to know where to go find my food. You know, I know where to find the markets. Like in the US, I know where to find the big terminal market. But then even like, you can do this. You go to, say, New Mexico in the US, and you want to find coconuts. I just asked Google or one of them search engine, coconuts wholesale, New Mexico, or Santa Fe, wherever you are. No, not coconuts, I'm sorry. I just say fruits wholesale. So you're gonna find a terminal market. You're gonna find where it all comes in. And they're all clustered in one area. So you know, call the numbers and who got coconuts, bang. You know, or you would know where the market is or find where it is. But now, for example, now how do I travel? How did I get here 2 days ago? How did I get here from Panama, 10 hours on one flight, 6 hours on another flight to get here to Accra from Panama City? So it took me about, so I was out there for about 24 hours. Yeah, I think I left Panama at 6:30 p.m. and I got here at 11 p.m. The next day, but the time change made it look like more than 24 hours. But before I got on the plane in Panama, I flooded my body with juice or water. Even at the airport, my last thing, I'm there, I'm traveling with about, 2 bottles of water, coconut water or fruit juice from my place, hour and a half to get to the airport. And I'm just drinking, flooding my body. I have about 2 gallons of water in my pouch inside of me. So I drink it all before I get on the plane because I don't drink the water on the plane. I don't want no food on the plane. I don't want anything from them at all. Number one, eating up in the plane at that elevation, you cannot digest. So one of the last things you really want to do is eat anything.
That's why you get constipated all the time when you fly. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's why the jet lags and things like that, because you cannot digest. Some people come off, they feel nauseous, dizzy, sick, so eating on the plane is not healthy. So it's good that right now they're not even giving you too much food anymore on the planes. But so anyway, so yeah, like every 45 minutes or so, I'm running to the bathroom on the plane. I got an aisle seat near so I'm just draining out for 16 hours. I'm draining out literally because I'm full of water. I got my water tank full, inside of me. I like flood my body with juices, And I think what I bought in Amsterdam, at the airport, I bought 6 oranges and 3 apples, because that's the only thing I would buy. But this is now, I'm on a 6-hour layover. So I know, I eat that in an hour, it's gone out of my system. So generally and then number 2 now, I don't eat out. I don't eat in restaurants. I don't eat anything that I don't recognize. I don't eat out. So if I'm looking for anything anywhere, I just buy whole fruits. I'll buy a set of fruits like this, take it to my hotel room. I don't want any food from them or any. This is the only thing I would trust. Whole fruits, cut it up myself. I might have my juicer, my blender, so I'll do it there. Otherwise, I just eat it. I just buy fruits that I can eat, and that's it. So the whole thing now, ideally, what I do, besides my daily fast, we fast every day when we go to sleep for 8 hours. That's 1/3 of our entire day. We're just fasting, just living on oxygen. While you're sleeping, nothing gets past your lips. So that's the classical fast. So also I practice normally fasting once a week as well. So usually I fast every Saturday, which means when I fast, I'm drinking a whole gallon of coconut water, fruit juice, or vegetable juice, or a combination of the 3 of them. If I was on my base now doing this kind of fast that I'm doing here, normally in the morning, I drink 1 quart, a liter of coconut water and a liter of fruit juice, 6 a.m. to 12 noon. Then from 12 noon to 6 p.m., I'll drink a liter of coconut water and a liter of vegetable juice. So I do but that's when I'm stable and I'm not moving around. So now, like for me now here, coconut water is the easy go-to, but I need more than that because I'm expending a lot of energy. So I want sugar. So I'm gonna do mango. So pretty much what I'm gonna do for the next 20 days that I'm here, because this is like, this pineapple doesn't appeal to me. The green pineapple, you see where I come from Panama, our pineapples are golden yellow every day of the entire year. So for me to get used to this, nah.
That's the sugar loaf.
This is the sugar loaf. But this one, it won't turn yellow like the Jamaican sugar loaf. Even in Jamaica, my sugar loaf pineapple is yellow. This one, I don't know if it's GMO or what the heck they've done, but this thing is never going to turn yellow.
No.
And it may be sweet and all of that.
We do have some that do turn yellow, though. There's
few.
different ones, yeah. We
A
have some
few.
different species here.
A
Yeah.
different species, right. But so even with my mango, it's like when I went to, where was it, Aburi yesterday?
Aburi, yeah.
And we went, and all the mangoes lined up. I am going to the one who has the most yellow mango, the most red. I don't, even if it may be ripe and still got the color green, no, I want sugar. I want high maximum sugar. So what I'm gonna do now for the next 20 days, because this is like, you know, this is what appeals to me. So I'm gonna do what, you know, we would call a mango mono, or generally people call just a mono fruit diet. So I'm gonna be mostly on mangoes for the next 20 days, but I'm making mango juice. So I'm blending it with the coconut water, press it out, and I'm gonna be drinking mango juice. So, you know, it's interesting because the word mono, you know, in Spanish it's mono, and mono is monkey. So I'm gonna do monkey juice. You know, but it's interesting when you look at language, you know, English language, 70% of their words come from Latin. So when they say mono, a monkey, and then in English you have monkey, you know, you see the root still there, M-O-N, you know, and then you have the CK. So I'm gonna be basically be a monk, a mango monk, you know. But the whole bottom line is, you have to now culture your body. And this is why I'm saying, and I took you back to fasting every day, and then fasting once a week. You need to do this as a normal practice. Once a week, you need to shut your digestive system down and only fast. This is why in some religions they do the Sabbath. This is what this is supposed to be about. But most of the religions, when they do the Sabbath fasting, they would start Friday after sunset, and they break it Saturday at sunset. So it's a 24-hour fast. So this is what I'm bringing to you to share with you, that yes, those kind of fasts, Ramadan and those types of fasts, those are spiritual fasts. But therapeutically, they're not that therapeutic. What we're doing is a therapeutic fast. So when I ask you to do a fast once a week, it's not a 24-hour fast, it's a 36-hour fast. So you start the fast. If you're fasting on Saturday, you start it after your last meal on Friday. And you break it at the breakfast hour on Sunday morning. It's not a 24-hour fast. You don't break a fast therapeutically at the end of a day and go into a fish fry at the end of the day. Because now you're going to eat too much. And to do, say, like a Ramadan fast, it's a spiritual fast. You're going to accomplish your spiritual goal. You're going to accomplish that spiritual goal after that 24 hours. But therapeutically, shutting down the digestive system during the day and eating at night, therapeutically, so what I promote is the daylight dining, that we should really only eat between when the sun is out. 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. because the body, so there's so much science, so much information that never came with our body owner's manual. We don't know how our body functions, and especially our relationship with food, and that's what's got us in trouble today. So we need to come back home. So fasting once a week, now that's important. And then fasting on the new moon and full moon, twice a month. Because the moon affects the movement of water on the planet every time, all the time. So my body is 70% liquid. So the moon affects the movement of that water in my body all the time. So the new moon and the full moon, fasting. And then the seasonal fast, the solstice and the equinox, the change of each season. And you take note that COVID occurred March 20, 2020. On the spring equinox, when we should have been fasting anyway, because this is when so these are so this is where the spiritual energy comes in and fusing it with the physical energy and doing these fasts. So you need to now do that. So when you do those 4 fasts, your daily fast, your weekly fast, lunar fast, and then the seasonal fast, 5 fasting systems that becomes a way of life in rhythm with the universe. You're going to be fasting a good 84 days for the entire year. So you are now in control of your body, those addictions and all of these things. You're in better control of these things. So I can go, if I don't find my food, I can shut my system down and don't eat, period. Or immediately, I just kick in the fasting button. I'm here for 10, 20 days, and the only thing I can really enjoy without going off of my center is coconut water and mango. That's all I'm gonna do for 20 days. But we are junkies, we're addicted, and it's hard to just, especially the damn potato. That's one of the hardest ones.
Yeah.
That's like some serious dope. It's a serious drug, or any starch, and especially when it's fried. So we need to take ownership, we need to take control of this vehicle, we need to be our God, we need to be our doctor, we need to be our healer, our therapist, and everything. You know, and take ownership. Take the responsibility of being yourself. So that way, wherever you go, and you go to a restaurant, or you go to somewhere and you're trying to eat out, you need to hold your ground. You need to hold your ground. And if you got to employ the waitress and let her know that I'm tipping you, or him, I'm tipping you. So look, I don't eat no cooked food. I see this on the menu, tell them don't put no feta cheese in my damn salad.
Or eggs.
Yeah, or eggs or anything. You tell them what you want. And if they say, no, we don't have this, I said, well, look, you see that steamed broccoli and all this vegetables saute, just put the damn thing in a plate. Don't saute it, don't season it, no nothing, and just give me some oil and some lemon. But, so you're not, when you go to eat out, you're not eating for health. There's no place on this planet you're going to eat for health. It's entertainment or convenience, and that's not healthy. So understand and accept, I'm only going to this restaurant because I want to entertain. Food has become a big thing of entertainment now. Everywhere you go, it's food, food, food. And it's all food's food. It's entertainment stuff. Above all the options of this and that and everything, and entertaining us with food, and we got caught up. And we're supposed to be eating for health, longevity, stamina, vitality, not for no damn entertainment. Build all our social family relationship, that's fine, but that's when we used to all eat at home and we come to grandma's house every Sunday, or we live in the same compound and we only eat from one pot. But today you see some people taking the whole family out to KFC on Sunday for Sunday dinner. Let's come on back home, family.
One more question. Any last questions? Any other questions?
Just one question, sorry. How do you deal nowadays with fruits that are not that much genuine, to say they are kind of becoming poison?
What do you mean, organic?
Yeah, non-organic, GMO. And
that's a big mango, someone told me
correct.
The big mango because
Correct.
It's man-made.
Right. So how I deal with it, living on a 700-acre farm that had 100 and that got 70 varieties of exotic fruits on the farm. So yeah, we have chosen to live in Accra. We have chosen to live in the city. We're not living in the bush. We have to go back home. We have to grow our food. That's the only guarantee. So we have given up our rights as human beings because of convenience, well, let's call it our reality. Because of my reality, I better live in Accra. And I can't grow no food there, and I have to go to the market, I have to go to the supermarket, and I have to do the best that I can. But the best you can is, baby, just starve. Don't eat. Because 99% of all the foods today that are commercial, they're hybrid, they're GMO, they're plastic, they're rubber. Even the damn Chinese sell you rice, half of it is plastic and half is rice. Remember that time? Yeah, 50%. And you eat it and you never even knew a difference that you was eating plastic. Yeah, we loved it. Same way. So you can eat cardboard, and they call it cellulose in your food, sawdust, and all of this stuff. But the only way we can ensure that we're getting 100% is you just buy one organic tomato, one organic watermelon, and plant every single damn seed, and you don't have to buy another watermelon the rest of your life, no more tomato. But where are we? We are the ones choose to live here and not be on the land and growing our food anymore. So we have to take the responsibility of supporting that industry because we don't have a choice. And we put ourselves in that position, and we can take ourselves out of that position. So it starts from here. And being real with yourself and what is your priority.
Yes.
But we have become too urbanized, and we've given up the land. Now they've taken our land and renting us time to go to the land and safari or something.
So Doc, tell us in closing about your vision for Africa and your movement in Africa for 2025, and give us a message to Africa in reference to wellness for 2025.
Well, number one, Africa, you know, foods that are grown on mineral-rich soil don't need no pesticide, no herbicide, no nothing. Number one, you know, for us to be adorning ourselves with diamonds and gold and these things externally, we're better off eating foods that are grown on mineral-rich land with diamond and gold, and we're going to be radiant as a diamond and gold because we are what we eat. We're going to be shining example of what it is to eat from the land. So that's very important. So what we're doing now, seems like we've really crossed the bridge this year, and we're into a new civilization, because what happened, you know, from especially since March 20, 2020.
The COVID, yeah.
Since that, we need to really wake up. We need to really come on back home. Come on back home to Africa, and when we come to Africa, go back into our villages. Look at what's going on around. Everywhere in this damn Accra is building, and there's no traffic to accommodate another 800 people to live in this city. The traffic. And then we complain, oh, it's too much traffic. You chose to live here. And we building, and we leave all the land out there. What is going on with those land? So anyway, what we're doing, we have about 6 countries in Africa that we're going to be touring this year. And this is the starting. This is our gateway to Africa. So we're going into Tanzania, you know, where we're going to be really bringing it hard and strong. I'm coming back. I'm coming back to Ghana this year. The plan is to come back in December and spend the whole month, because we're just coming to introduce this journey here. This is our gateway, you know. But Tanzania, we're going to South Africa. You know, South Africa has the biggest food show in the world. The biggest food trade show in the world. There's one the last weekend in May in Cape Town, and then the other one in Johannesburg, the lanes anymore. This is the biggest show in Africa, the biggest one in the whole world. So, you know, it's like, guess who's coming with dinner? Yeah, happy dreadlocks. Yeah, so we're coming home. And we're coming into as many of these types of setups here on the continent to really take things to a whole nother level. So we have, you know, still to be confirmed, 3 other places that we're going to be going this year in Africa. But besides Africa, I'm going to Vietnam. The World Vegetarian Festival is going to be in Vietnam in October. We'll be there. We'll be in Peru, the biggest food giants in the country, in the world, that exports a lot of food all over the world. We're going to be there. We're going to be in Jamaica. You know, so we're pretty much on tour. My book is coming out April 1st. We're having the digital version. May 1st, the hard copy. So at some point, you know, before I come back in December, I'm circling back through Ghana because we do have something pending in Ethiopia that we're going to be attending. So I'll be circling back through on a book tour here. So the Sunfired, the Soul of Food, and it's mostly, you know, a recipe cookbook, close to 100 recipes in the book. But, you know, it's really to get rooted in Africa, you know. So we're looking to have, you know, some kind of regional hubs in Africa.
So
And,
Ghana
you
will
know,
have a hub here in Ghana?
We're definitely looking forward. And, you know,
Yes.
I think it's going to be 2033. You know, there's a railroad coming in Africa, a bullet train. So it's going to be from South Africa to Morocco, and then from Morocco to Egypt, then from Egypt to South Africa. So we're going to be a whole lot more interconnected. So you can, I think, you know, you can, in 3 days, you can go from South Africa and come around by train and come back down. So it's going to be sealing up and really making Africa more interconnected, you know. So we're going to really be, it's going to be a whole different Africa.
Yes.
And,
No visas, please.
no visas, right?
Yes.
No visas
Claim it,
or
claim
anything
it.
like that, you know. So that's why there's some house cleaning taking place right now, and you know, some of these colonialists are being packed up and shipped out, shipped back home, and one of them have the nerves to say they're going to lend us back our gold
Artifacts, yeah. Shanti, I think it was last year.
Yeah.
That the stuff that they stole away,
they're going to
lend it back to us so we can have it. Yeah. Yeah, and we're in contact with a sister who's fighting, Nana, that we talked with last night, went to her place. And she's one of the people that's on the front line fighting. And with a couple other elders, you know, it's a brother that put out a film in 78, somewhere up in there, still with us, filmmaker. But that was the thing about bringing, and he was able to see stuff, like deep, two levels down in basements and stuff that's in boxes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and just have a little hookup with the security guard, and he got in, you know. But yeah, that's what they're talking about. They said, you can borrow it for a year, 2 years or whatever, and then it has to come back to their museum. I'm like, it ain't got to come back once it's here.
Yeah, so basically, right now, they all know this time is up.
Yes.
Time is up.
Like
We're bringing
fish out
a
of
brand
water.
new civilization, and we're building this one for keeps. And you better be healthy, you know, to be able to really keep it ourselves. We cannot be eating this garbage and expect to hold on to anything new that we build. So we need to be fully present, not sick, and totally conscious to make sure that this one is really for us and is for keeps. So welcome home, family.
Yes. So your last words, that should be it. Welcome home.
Welcome home.
Welcome home. Welcome home. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, my brothers. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We really appreciate you and honor you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, so it's good to be striding, you know, at this age, in this place right now. And I'm here to, you know, lock arms with all of our brothers and sisters, especially our elders, you know, and let's walk together, strong and mighty, you know.
Yes.
And it's never too late to order a new body.
Yes.
And it begins right here. You're in the lab. New body products.
You guys come up. Let's take a picture. Let's all take a picture that you get
I'll
in the
be
middle.
right back.
Okay. All right. We can at least set up and, you know, start. You can continue. You can keep going. I say keep going. Everybody just kind of come forward. When he comes in, we'll just jump into a picture. Hey, greetings.
Tickets for the feast here.
Yeah, you can. Wait, I'll give you a link. You have Momo? You don't? Oh, wow. Okay, we'll work it out. We'll take the cash and then do it for you. And then are you on WhatsApp? Okay, so once we get it, then there will be a pass that will be sent. Come tight, come tight.
Okay.
We're family. We're not gonna bite, well, at least not hard.
Sumptuous. Oh, both of us.
Oh. Calm down.
Ready?
Okay.
My brother.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
All right.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Certificate. Now I'm going to go
Oh,
to
yeah, yeah, yeah.